You know how pissed I am about the fact that like
you
all
my pictures and the red light on,
bro. All those pictures disappeared on that Samsung Galaxy Note 3, and I was pissed about it because the same thing happened to LeBron. He tweeted, he's like, "I can't believe I just lost all my pictures." That's why I went back to iPhone.
I vividly remember you going, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Why? You know, man, I'm tired. I've been on iPhone so long. Look, I gotta switch it up. I'm like,
bro, sure I had an 8 gig iPhone 4. Like I couldn't do anything. I just started a new job, a director of multimedia for St. Francis, and it is what it is. But you know, Brandon, fix your face. Look at you. You look so sad. We're about to talk. Smile a little bit. The people are happy to see you, brother Hugh.
Yes.
I dare you throw the toothpick at the camera lens. I just dare you. I don't know. There it is. And the red light has been on for a complete minute, and we are here, ladies and gentlemen, once again on the Wrestling Realm Now podcast. We have a lot to get into tonight, including Bad Blood this Saturday. We have a lot to talk about, not to mention we're going to recap some of the key points and moments from Monday Night Raw, as well as the debut of NXT on CW. So, once again, you know what time it is. It is Wednesday. So, buckle your seatbelts. We are about to get in this ride known as the Wrestling Realm Now podcast. Gentlemen, let's get it.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes!
That's got to be one of the saddest woos that we've had on the show, but I understand why. We're not here to talk about that. Welcome to the Wrestling Realm Now podcast, where we take a deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. I got my watch on today. Now, I am your host, the realness himself, the big man, real Dwayne Allen. No, I'm not a hologram. And he is your host, Brother Hugh, super producer, has the third A to the A to the S, T to the H to the E, 3 to the R, to the D, in the building tonight. And he is your host, the curator, the creator of championship culture, not just any guy, of the Belt King, Brandon, the guy in the building tonight. And he is your host, the man, the myth, the creator, the founder of the Wrestling Realm, also known as the man who turned heel and became Mr. Steal Your Show, Hollywood. Brian H. Waters in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Brothers, how you guys feeling? It's another Wednesday. Here we go. We're going back at it again.
This feels like the longest week ever.
I feel bad for
no, I don't want to talk about
realm. Yeah, I feel bad for 3/4, but it's.
I'm good.
Where Will Smith at? You know, no, Agent J. Okay, where they do the thing.
Yeah, sure. Like on Men in Black. For those who are listening,
you wanna?
I like that movie. I got all the DVDs over there. Like
Men in Black.
1,
He said
2,
that
and 3.
movie.
Blu-rays.
You probably know the dance routine, don't you?
Ladies and gentlemen,
he does. He does.
The good guys dressed in black. Remember that?
No, keep going.
Right.
You have to forget.
I used to know the words back in the day.
We are struggling through
and they see things that we may not see. So go with your life. Look at the rhymes on. Go show love to the black suits because that's the men in. That's the
do the dance.
Oh.
We are struggling to get through.
He used to do it.
That's his go ninja go moment.
That was definitely right.
That's his moment.
See,
I hope Brad clips up that little dance part for social media. That was perfect.
I'm not.
Do the dance.
One of y'all figure it out.
I'm going to open immediately after the show is done.
I'm gonna jump off before the joint upload.
Oh, you're the first one done. You're gonna be the first one done, probably.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much got like the whole first 5 minutes of the show literally belonged to you. So hopefully what I'm a clip like the first 10 minutes of the show. So the first 5 minutes is going to be all you that whole Men in Black thing. Add music, give you some sunglasses, put it on social media, right?
Yep.
But
Do it.
we are here for another episode of the Wrestling Rum Now podcast. And we are struggling as we try to get through the MLB playoffs for us. Gentlemen from Baltimore. It's
end of the road.
As Brian H is singing, we are have another disappointing end to the season. Brother Hugh was actually there. That had to be tough.
Very tough.
On TV, you saw everybody's just faces when Gunther was at bat, just like looking like this is going to be it. And just that quick one play, one pitch, and it was over. And I said, dang.
Like, why are you fishing, bro?
Okay, see. But we are here is because we have a responsibility to the fans and we have a job to do. Is because although our MLB season has ended, the wrestling season goes on forever, and we have WWE Bad Blood this Saturday, and we are here to talk about it. Not only are we here to talk about WWE Bad Blood, we are also here to talk about some of the main points from Monday Night Raw, as well as the anticipated debut of NXT on CW. Fellas, are you guys ready to get into everything that we have to talk about?
Let's do it.
Of course.
Man. Had the match of the year. Match of the night. So
now, speaking of match of the night, this is the part of the show where we have to inform the people on the latest, the greatest, the newest show to the Wrestling Realm brand known as Championship Culture. Live and in living color. Season 3 is well underway. And you can find Championship Culture every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm. Cue it up. Now listen, don't adjust your TV sets or your Twitter machines. There was no episode of Championship Culture this Tuesday, but the brothers will be back as of next week with a brand new episode of Championship Culture. Now, if you're not familiar with season 3 so far, like I said, head over to youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm, playlist Championship Culture, catch up on all of season 1, season 2, all the bonus episodes, and the few episodes of season 3 that is well underway. Good brothers, there may not have been an episode, and I may not have any notes this week, but is there anything you can tell us? There was no show. I was like, wait a minute, I was waiting for it. Then I saw the tweet, and I was like, oh, okay, no show. So with that being said,
prediction message, which is crazy, because there was a prediction message that came out and told everybody, go enjoy NXT, this occasion. But we're gonna talk about next week, right? You want to talk about next week?
Sure. Give the people a hint of what we can look forward to as far as next week is concerned for the episode for Championship Culture next Tuesday at 8 p.m.
So next Tuesday, do you know what the show is going to be called?
No, I don't believe so.
Are you ready?
Come on, that's what you got.
Championship Controversies, and that's all we're going to say.
Okay. All right. Now, I probably
let them marinate for a minute.
No. Then when you say championship controversies, I'm just like the audience, and I'm probably wondering, what are we talking? Are we talking the actual titles? Or are we talking the wins? Are we talking the outcomes? That's a lot to unpack.
It is. It's a lot. You know what's the crazy part? That you say that out loud. It is a lot to unpack, and that's why they should join on Tuesday at 8 p.m. so they can join in the conversation, so they can be part of it, so they can see what exactly. Because sometimes with Championship Culture, you realize it may not just be one episode; it might be a volume, it might be a couple different ones. Because we still got one volume to finish. Realness, dealing with our good old friends in NXT. But I'm gonna just say this about Championship Controversies: if it happened, it's probably going to be mentioned.
Dang, he pulled my move. Didn't give you anything.
You see that here?
Yeah, good job.
You see that? Okay, good.
Pat on the back.
Now you should know me by now, and Realist doesn't follow rules. Brian H. Tell him, you know I don't follow rules. So guess what?
Never that player.
Yeah, well, although we may not have gotten an episode of Championship Culture yesterday on Tuesday, guess what? NXT debuted new championship titles. And guess what? We're going to have an impromptu episode of Championship Culture live on this show when we discuss NXT's debut on CW. And we're going to take a good review at these new NXT men's and women's championship later in the show. So how about that? And afterwards, guess what? I'm still most likely going to have notes. But with that being said, we have to move forward. Let us get this party started. Brian H., ring the bell.
That wasn't the bell.
Horns.
That loss messed them up bad. Look at him.
Did the bell ring?
Yeah. It rang.
Okay, the bell rang. Ladies and gentlemen, each week we do a segment on this show called What Did You Watch? Where we sit down and we discuss pretty much what it says, what we watched this week to get our minds and our hearts prepared for this show. Now, with an action-packed Monday Night Raw as well as CW, NXT's arrival on CW, that is what is going to be the primary source of today's segment. What did you watch? Sponsored by SeatGeek. If you're looking to purchase tickets to concerts, live shows, sporting events, and more, head over to SeatGeek.com where you can use our promo code WrestlingRealm for any one-time purchase of $50 or more. That's promo code WrestlingRealm on any one-time purchase of $50 or more. Gentlemen, what did you watch? All right.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's so deflated today. I feel it. I'm just like, bro, the air's.
I got something exciting.
Pull out the room. What do you have, brother guy?
Since I'm gonna bring the mood up a little bit. So, as we was watching NXT, I missed the vignette that played, and I totally forgot. With the whole signing of Julia and Stephanie, I forgot that there was talks about a certain person being signed. So I'm like, okay, who is this Delta woman, right? Mm-hmm. So as we were on the nightcap with Mike from Open Up with Mike, I was like, all right, I gotta go do some research. And probably the last 24 hours, I think I've been down the biggest YouTube rabbit hole ever to find out who Delta is. And I understand 100%. We might have the second coming of the four horsewomen in NXT in this sense. And Delta, I get each of these women are different styles, but Delta tells a story in the ring that whether it was in a singles match, a multi-woman match, anything, I just kept focusing on her. Not because I was doing the research. I was thoroughly impressed with like, oh, I see it's something there. It's something with her. And I see why they plucked her right now to say, no, come on, because we got to give you the WWE system. So I would encourage anybody to look up Melbourne City Wrestling. That's where a lot of Delta's matches that I found on YouTube. If you do Delta and MCW, ironically MCW, you will
the better
see
one.
a lot of her. Yeah, you'll see a lot of her matches, but her opponents are no slouches either. That's the good part. So I found that very enjoyable that I was able to find a lot of her matches without having to go. And a lot of them just kept saying, "Oh, here's another." I'm like, "Oh wow, this was actually really good." So, and plus she did some things with GCW too, but I was stuck on the that and Riot City Wrestling was the other one that I found a lot of her stuff with.
Okay, so we have a new NXT debut coming soon. Like I said, usually when you get a vignette or a video package, it means they're preparing for something special. So only time will tell, but of course we will definitely keep our eyes on this Delta that NXT is advertising as they go forward, especially with this new partnership with CW. So I expect them to pull out all the stops and give wrestling fans a new take on superstars from the global center of professional wrestling that we may not be familiar with. So I am looking forward to that. Now, speaking of looking forward to things, man, last week we had a situation. We've been watching something unfold, right, on Monday Night Raw with these two monsters, right? Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. They took over Monday Night Raw. When I say took over Monday Night Raw, I'm referring to the fact that they were the main event and they had a last monster standing match. Gentlemen, this has been brewing for a while. These two behemoths have been breaking things and flying things all over the place. And they were even gifted with the exploding ring gimmick for this match. And I think Brother Brandon alluded to it last week when he said, you know what, it's good that you have these, you have enough talent on these shows where the main events haven't necessarily been centered around the title per se, but it's centered around the talent that are put in main event situations that deliver. And I think this was no different. But first of all, let me ask you, good brothers, did this match live up to the hype? Were you guys satisfied with the ending of, unfortunately, I believe Braun Strowman did get injured. Well, he's probably going to be out for some time now, but I mean, he kind of went out with a bang. Were you guys satisfied with the building of Bronson Reed? Because that's pretty much what we've been watching.
Yeah, I was satisfied with the building of Bronson Reed, but I can do without the whole ring gimmick. I feel like
wait a minute now. No, why is that now? Wait a minute now. Why can you do without the whole ring gimmick? Because
it's been used too many times.
Yeah, like I know it's only
you got
4 times.
When you got two giant, you have to do it. Like, think about it. When are you going to have 1,000 pounds in the ring together at one point in time? I want to hear this. Go ahead, Brian H.
Because it's one of those things, right? All right, the first time we seen it, it was like, wait a minute. It was, I will never forget Taj out Holy, and they had to bleep it out.
Sure.
You know, it looked like it looked legit, right? The second time it was like, oh, wait, was that supposed to happen? Because it happened during, like, they still had a whole main event with Cena and Del Rio. And I guess looking back at it, knowing what we know, if he was going to do it with anybody, like trusting them to go out there and wrestle in half a ring, those are the two. Big Show and Strowman, it was like, okay, we just seen this, you know. And I think Jim Cornette says sometimes like a 7-year rule or something. But
sure.
And now, like, the years have becoming less and less, like in between. So it was just like it made sense. Don't get me wrong. Me personally, I'm like, I don't need to keep seeing it. It was one of those things like, bro, all right, okay, you know. And I just looked at the crowd reaction. It felt like it was just the first couple of rows that reacted, but it didn't feel like it was like that shocking. Now, as TV people, when we saw him go suplex, it's like, we know what's coming.
You knew what was coming.
And I think also because they threw it in the video games as you know, as like a super extreme hot spot. So, you know, for me, it was just like, you know what?
Okay. So you stand on the side where you think this is overexposed. Okay, fair enough. Who else agrees with Brian about this thing being overexposed? Okay, Brother Hugh. Brother Hugh, speak on it, please. Now you think
look at us agreeing.
I know, right?
Yeah, this is a rarity. This is
crazy. Click this off. You ain't gonna believe this.
So Brian H believes like it's too much. It's been overdone. We've seen it too many times. Like first time, okay, wow. Second time, was like, okay, it made sense. Third time, man. Fourth time, you're like, okay, was it necessary? Fair enough. Is that correct, Brian H? Did I sum that up pretty much the way it's supposed? Okay, Brother Hugh, you seem to agree with Brian H about this. You weren't a fan of this spot. Am I safe to say that, or you just thought maybe you could have done without it?
You could have done without it. I wouldn't have. I didn't really want it, to be honest. But it's not about me. It's about everybody else. But even though they did the spot, like Brian said, the pop wasn't really that huge to me.
Okay.
It like as soon as I heard about the match, and as soon as they started playing the theme music for Bronson and Braun to come out, I was like, here we go. We're about to get this exploding ring.
So you knew from the beginning.
I knew it, bro. I was like, come on, two big boys in the ring. You know we're gonna get it. Just like I'm kind of tired of seeing the barricade spot too.
Ooh, you know? Yeah, okay. In the same section that everybody always gets.
Yeah, so I'm like, I got tired of it last night when I saw Trick Williams do it, and I was like, come on, bro. Yeah. Like, all right, okay, we get it. But once again, it's not about me. It's about the fans, and they pop for it all the time. You see what I'm saying? It's different when you're there live and you see it. As
I was ready to ask you that next.
Right. Like it's more involving and it's more intense when you're there live and you see it like, oh my gosh, it really hits your soul. Okay. But just watching it on TV, I'm just like, oh, okay, all right. It's the same camera angle, it looks the same every time we see it. So okay, all right, I'm done with it. But I get it. The match was awesome.
Okay.
I loved all of the spots except the exploding ring. And it did its job. It built Bronson Reed up. You got your return of Seth Rollins.
Which we're going to get into next.
Absolutely. Now we're going to get back into that feud. I'm just eager to see what's next for Bronson. We already know what's good with Seth. So
you already know what time it is with Seth. I think you made very crucial points when you said that. And it makes me wonder, like, well, I wonder how the kids who've probably never seen something like this responded.
Speaking of Seth, did y'all see him in Baltimore at the Ravens game?
He was.
With that fresh suit on. Yeah.
He was there for a prime. I said, wow, Seth's coming to Baltimore. Baltimore, first of all, has come a long way. With the exception of too soon. Sorry. Yeah. But brother guy, I'm curious to see. Brother Hugh, it's there's so many highs and lows. Brother Hugh feels one way. Brian H feels very similar. How did you enjoy this spot? Like, because this is taking a totally different turn than I expected. I expected a level of excitement about this, but you guys are like, no, I've seen this already. But how did you feel about the match and how it ended? Like, was it appropriate? Did it make sense, or was it overkill?
And see, I enjoyed it because as I'm watching it, I felt like it was built into it. Any other time, it's like, oh, you could see it coming. But this time, I felt like it was built into.
Well, brother, he said he do it from the minute. He said the minute. Hold on, Brandon. Now, from the minute who came out the ring? Was it Braun or was it Bronson that you were like, I feel like exploding ring?
As soon as both of them hit the ring, I was like, look, it's two big guys in the ring. We already know what we're about to get.
Okay, so that
brother spot is coming.
Brother Hugh knew it from the minute they both got in the ring. What say you, brother Brandon? Now, you said you enjoyed it.
I knew it because they kept doing, like, I don't think like one wrestling move was it. They kept doing so many spots, and I do agree with you about the running through the ring, ring post. What is that? I'm sick of that. Everybody do something else. Like the doctor said in the comment, it's too predictable, right? But as they kept doing things, like when he flew off the top rope, I said, okay, Braun trying to do some things differently. They keep giving you something else working up to. He's not going to stay down. Even when he threw him through the announce table, it was clean. I was like, oh, and Bronson was like, nope, I'm not going down. But it felt like it was building like this is how it has to end. You know, like at that point. So I was okay.
That was the only way to come to a conclusion about this.
Yes. And any other time I feel like, oh, Big Show's getting suplex. Look what's about to happen. You know, oh, here we go. You know, so that I felt like that was more predictable. This had a build to it. Because I don't think it was pure entertainment. It was just let the monsters fight. And then they made a point to say Braun has been in 4 other matches like this and he's won every one. So I was like, okay, so we know who the winner is going to be. We knew, to me, the predictable thing was Steph's going to come back because he's got to get his look back to get that program going. And I was like, okay, that's what I was waiting for. Like, all right, how is Seth going to fit into this? When is he going to come back? You know, and it was that type of deal. So I enjoyed it. I think it was done now. If we said in a week, not a week, like within the next year, then it's going to say it's too much now.
I know one thing. If Omos ever comes back, he better get suplex off that rope and the ring better explode.
Why can't he do the suplexing?
I don't know. I just
because for me, I feel to the top rope. They would hit the other side of the rope.
The biggest body has to hit the mat for it to explode. You know what I mean? So see, this is what the room does, man. We got to give people the chance to look at stuff from a different perspective. Here's how I look at it. To me,
Brian, you got to break it down.
Right, Brian H. Here's how I look at the ring exploding. When you have two guys of that size that are doing things they probably have no business doing. We talking like some straight heavy D, Big Van Vader, Bam Bam Bigelow type stuff. I'm talking all big guys that can move. And yes, I added heavy D to mix with those. Dilly D.
Hey. You might pay attention.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's only one solution if somebody that big gets suplexed. Now, mind you, that's not something that's normally supposed to happen because they probably tell you, hey, listen, these top ropes have a weight limit. So to me, it only makes sense that if somebody decides to get up there that big, they're trying to get their point across, it was a last man standing match. In this situation is last monster standing match. And I was like, well, hey, big guy should be going up there anyway. So there's no other conclusion but for that rope for the ring to explode, because then people are like, oh, that's fake. How did the ring not break? They're both too big for that thing not to break.
How did the ring just shook a little? That thing should have exploded.
Don't get me wrong. I understand why you guys are tired of saying it, because we've seen a lot of wrestling, and this wasn't the best version of what we've seen. So there's a standard that we see. I get that.
That's what I had to
do.
say.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But listen to me. If you get guys that big in the ring that are gonna flip it and flying like that, you best believe you better make that ring explode. It's just tradition at this point. Like I said, Omos, if you decide to stick around and you go to that top rope, it better be an explosion. And I'm not talking about like when freaking Eddie Kingston covered up John Moxley and the sparkles went off and AEW C4
When he gave him the Yeti.
Yeah, like not that explosion.
He gave him the Yeti horizontally.
Yeah, like he's like, no, and he just covers up and like a party scene sparkles went off.
They gave him the Gilbert special.
Oh, they
Yo,
bro, they gave the freaking Gilbert sparklers. I said, bro, I thought the ring, like, I expected the ring to collapse. Like, okay, cool. You know how the ring collapse when they do the suplex. Same gimmick. Like, bro, like, just hit a button. It should explode underneath it. Like, rig it underneath the ring where it breaks down, and let smoke go from underneath the ring. They used to do it with the Japanese death matches. If you remember when in Japan and in Mexico, they used to do that a lot. Like, you know, when they would hit these C4 boxes, as they call them, they would explode, and it would be like smoke popping up. Now,
and a loud boom.
Yeah,
it would be the loudest boom to make you think that something actually exploded.
And it would be a lot of smoke. And it's like, oof, I don't know how far they're going with this thing, but that's what. And we talking about death matches are from the late 70s, early 80s ish, 80s ish, you know. So it's not like it was impossible. But I was happy to see that these guys had an opportunity to participate in being the main event. And to me, I just watched Raw. Like, man, Raw is just ridiculous, man. We have a few other things, but one of the biggest things that came from this match was the return of old Sethy boy. Seth Rollins, fresh out of his.
You know he mean business. He not wearing loud clothes.
Oh no, he came with a very luxury tracksuit. I said, oh yeah, he's here for smoke. I didn't see him coming. Now, brother Brandon, you said you kind of figured he was going to show up, but I got so caught up in what was going on in the ring, I didn't even think about. That's why I saw somebody with a jacket run past, and I said, oh shoot, that's Seth Rollins. I didn't know if he was hurt. I didn't know if he was taking time off. I just never know these days with like Becky Lynch being out and them having a baby, and I don't trust nothing Triple H and WWE does at this point. So I've thrown the book out. So I was excited to see Seth Rollins. But first and foremost, were you guys happy to finally see Seth Rollins back? Is it too early? Is it too soon? Or you guys, like, the architect is flying? I knew something was up. He was in Baltimore looking in good shape.
I definitely thought he was still here. I thought he was still here eating crab cakes and chicken boxes.
Baltimore had that.
He went to Jimmy's.
Yeah, Big Jimmy's and Stoko's, yeah.
So I figured he came back, he got his hit back. And to me, the finish of this match made the most sense, right? So Bronson doesn't look like a complete chump that he lost, or he doesn't look like he was completely.
He's got rage now because he caused him the match. He can go after him, and it's crazy because I don't know if you saw the people's video. Seth Rollins was talking trash when he was going up the ring, saying, "It's not over between us. I'm just getting started." And I was like, "Oh, okay, here we go." And I said he knew what he was doing because now Bronson looks better in defeat because of everything that he went through. He was getting up, but if it wasn't for Seth, you know, and now even if is off because at one point I think I texted, he was like, "Oh, he looks bad." Or I told him when he was running across the road, you could tell he was like, "Oh, I'm in pain, like something ain't right." You could just see it in his face, and I was like, "Oh, I think he might have hurt something."
Yeah.
So now if Braun Strowman's going to be out for a little while, this story right here will take over.
Okay, so how do you guys feel about Seth Rollins being back at this time, even working with a Bronson Reed, getting his hit back pretty much? Because first of all, Seth Rollins is focused on CM Punk, and then Bronson Reed decided to take that opportunity to make a name for himself, and he's been on a tear since Seth Rollins was out, but Seth Rollins is officially back. And like I said, anytime you get a chance to play to get in the ring with a main event player, you know business is about to pick up. But clearly, someone that was released from WWE, you know, Triple H and Shawn Michaels have always had a lot of faith in Big Jonah. And now he's looking like a main event player. Once again, he's not in the title picture. He's not a contender, but he's in main event programs. He looks like $1 million. He does his promos in suits. He doesn't do his promos in his wrestling gear, snarling and barking like a dog or a dinosaur. Like he comes out there with shades on and suit and a couple. Like you saw how you walked in with that chai tea and some shades on. I said, "Oh yeah, he means business."
Mm-hmm.
But you guys happy to see Seth Rollins back?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's time.
Absolutely, it makes sense.
So Seth Rollins is back. Clearly he has some work to do, but it was a great way to finish Monday Night Raw, and we're probably looking forward to seeing this next program with Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. Like I said, it's probably perfect timing because once again he got hurt. Braun Strowman seemingly got hurt, and we don't know how long it's going to be out or what specifically the injury is. I'm not really trusting the dirt sheets, but we will move forward from there. But a lot of things happened on Monday Night Raw as well, including the Miz finally turning on R-Truth. R-Truth did a video for WWE.com pretty much saying that I think Miz still thinks I'm part of the Judgment Day. That's why he thinks Miz turned on him. I don't think in R-Truth fashion, I don't think he comprehended what the heck happened. He said, "Dang, man, Miz still thinks I'm a part of the Judgment Day. I moved on. I'm not part of that anymore." And I'm like,
who's turned more, the Miz, Big Show, or Kevin Owens? Who's turned more?
Big Show. You kidding me? Big Show used to turn every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
So
I thought it was the Miz. I feel like everybody that Miz has been there, he just turned on.
Miz
is Big Show.
He does his most work as a heel, and everybody knows that. I like face Miz, but he knows there's only so much he can do. He's not going to be over as Cody Rhodes. You know what I mean? Like where do you find your space? The Miz is always going to be the Miz, but Sami Zayn finally got his match with Gunther. Right?
Yeah.
Finally baited him in. Who on the show compared Sami Zayn to Mick Foley? Anybody remember?
I feel like that was you.
It was me?
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I thought it was you.
You said it years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, apparently it was me. I was watching the Sami Zayn just like he's been trying to get this title match with Gunther for a while. Mm-hmm. And I don't like how they're trying to repronounce his name. Like they go like Gunther. I'm like, bro, his name is Gunther. He's like the ring general Gunther. I said, no, don't start that now. Ludwig Kaiser. It's not no Gunther. It's Gunther. And he gets in. He goes to the whole spiel. Of course, we've seen this. He does this whole thing, and then all of a sudden, he's baiting him in. He finally snaps and goes, "You want your world title match? Fine, you got it." Now, mind you, Sami Zayn is the last guy to really take it to Gunther, and that always plays a factor. With I love where Sami Zayn's character is. He's in this main event conversation, which shows where they value where he stands. But he reminds me of Mick Foley. It's because after the fact that Gunther did his business and he let Sami Zayn have it. Sami Zayn picked himself up and looked at him and started pointing. Said, "I got you." I said, "Bro, that's so Mick Foley."
Yep.
I said that is absolutely perfect. But man, the chemistry that Gunther has with so many people on the roster, especially he has with Sami Zayn, he is an automatic threat because this is the only guy that, first of all, this is the guy that dethroned his first reign. So it's like, yo, there's a lot to this, and I'm sure there's a lot to come. But I'm sure we'll dive into that, at another space. But Bron Breakker, are we getting a face turn from Bron Breakker? I'm confused. He comes out.
Go ahead.
He congratulates Jey Uso, and I was like, okay, I'm waiting for some heel work. Something's about to go down. What the heck happens? And nothing happened. He's like, look, man, I told you before, I respect that lineage, and I respect you that much. And then Jey said, hey, man, there's some dogs in the house. And I was like, bro, that's it. Is this what it's gonna be? Is this what it's gonna be? Is this what it's gonna be? And then nothing happened. And I was like, okay, all right. I'm confused. What's going on? But what were you saying, Brian H?
No, but what I was saying is, you remember in 2003 when John Cena had first became like the Doctor of Thugonomics,
right?
And then he challenged for the title, Brock Lesnar, and clearly the company was being built around Brock. He had just won it at WrestleMania 19, but it was getting us used to seeing John Cena now in a main event picture, and he was going to be solid. You know what I mean? The next year, obviously, he would win his first U.S. title at WrestleMania 20, but it was still a big deal. Like, he was the mid card, but he was at the top of the mid card. And I do wonder, like, where Cena would have fit had Lesnar been given had Lesnar given WWE what they wanted from him back then, you know, because he was essentially like the perfect wrestler. You know what I mean? But then by 2005, John Cena was champion. And I don't see Gunther, I don't see Bron Breakker winning the championship no time soon, but just him going face to face with with Gunther and being in the same like frame as him lets us know it's like, okay, this is the future main event right here. This is a future match that's going to make some money.
I mean,
and when he get his time, it's going to be big. Like I think when Breakker does win the title eventually, he's going to be a babyface.
I don't like babyface Bron Breakker. I really don't, because he starts with those colorful singlets, and I'm like, bro, I like the black and red.
It don't feel natural. Something. I feel like something isn't right. Like it's forced.
Like you don't need to sell action figures. I want heel Bron Breakker. I don't want the one with the Steiner Brothers singlets. We get it. We know.
Yeah.
But the heel will still sell action figures because kids will think that he's cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He can be that cool heel or that cool baby face because he's a badass. And he does media well. Like you seen, like
he does do media well, yeah.
The tour with like Big E, and like I feel like that's somebody he's probably looking up to. They speak the same language. So I can definitely see, like, I understand why I like him better as a heel too, but I can see them saying, nah, we this somebody who can be a good baby face, because you also need some baby faces on Raw. Your biggest baby face is Jey Uso. Sami Zayn is in with Gunther, but what's tied up, like CM Punk, Seth Rollins, they all tied up and stuff, and then they're gonna be married to each other after they both get finished with their respective feuds soon.
Oh, wait a minute. Why the heck do we have a lack of baby faces on Monday Night Raw? Please explain.
That's a great question.
Because I hate to say it, the way that Triple H is doing the talent, he's making them likable and not like lovable. Like you want to see them. It's more like if a heel has a cool shirt, you're going to buy. Not like he'll like go away like Dominik Mysterio.
It's like freaking Roman Reigns for 3 years.
Yeah, it's like, and Triple H has said, I feel like I'm using his word, wrestling is cool now, or it was a Rock. One of them said it, that's
pro wrestling. Like, it's cool once again.
Yeah, it don't have to be. Look at me, because you got Cody Raheem over there being the smiling, shaking hands. I can still be cool. Remember, Rhea Ripley was supposed to be a heel all that time, but she was signing autographs. She was still taking pictures with people. She was still doing it. So I don't know if it's a lack of a babyface. I think the definition has changed for heel and face. It's a matter of where do we fit in this story and how do we rotate them in. Yeah,
it's definitely a lot of tweeners, but you got Damian Priest though. Like Damian Priest was the same situation. He was meant to be a bad guy, but then after a while, he got real honorable. And he became very lovable, and then he became very fan friendly and repping Puerto Rico. But then he started just going hard, like, "Yo, I'm a Puerto Rican from Brooklyn, dog," and everybody's like, "Yeah, me too." And even if you weren't Puerto Rican, like now he doesn't. It's like you watch this documentary. And they talk about like him trying to find like like the stuff you're doing doesn't seem authentic, but like I feel like now he's genuinely being himself, and he's just cool. He's like, bro, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Or what was it? Was it Brooklyn? Was he? I'm sorry, I don't want to keep saying
Bronx.
He grew up in the Bronx.
He moved here.
He's like, yo, I'm a Puerto Rican from the Bronx. I lived in Puerto Rico. I lived in New York. I'm struggled. This is me now, and I'm like, and everybody's like, okay, I can relate to this person, and it's worked though. It's organically worked. So it's like, all right, well. He doesn't need to dress like the Undertaker. He doesn't have to wear eyeliner anymore. He doesn't got ways.
They find ways to really sell these stories now, the backstories of these wrestlers, for sure.
Well, they seem to be incorporating them a little bit more. It reminds me of Fatu's gimmick when he was what was this thing called? It's like
making a difference.
There you go, making a difference. Yeah. Fatu, and he was talking about it, man. Going from the mean streets to San Francisco, man. We out here trying to make a difference, and it was like, well, okay. Once you learn about Junior Fatu or Rikishi, for those who don't know, you realize like, oh, that's his real story, and a lot of their family, is wrapped up in that same story.
Put that skirt on.
Yeah, well, he had the old school Martin tracksuit on. He definitely did. The windbreaker tracksuit.
The swish. Right. It makes it done when you walk.
That's right.
Don't walk too fast.
Like, okay.
You gonna set it on fire.
Fatu. See, I bet nobody thought they was going to get a junior Fatu make a difference Fatu shout out on tonight's show. But yes, so I mean, it's interesting you say it's a lack of baby faces, but does it have to be freaking Bron Breakker? I like him so much as a heel, but
he works better as a heel.
Number one, though.
You said
the
what?
same thing we saw.
Jay Uso's the number one, but he'll be tied up soon. He going back.
But think about it. Remember, we saw that with your guy. He got called up from NXT and it's been flat. But remember, in NXT, when he went, Brian Corbin went down there. He was supposed to be this heel, but organically, everybody started just cheering for him because it was like, even when him and Bron Breakker had those matches, it was like, these are two bad guys that are having a feud, and we like both. We want to see this. You know what I mean? And then when they became tag team champions, they're still quote unquote heels, but it was cool to cheer for them. Oh, look, they're on their cool little motorcycles. Oh, they come into the ring and they got smoke. You know, everything about it is a presentation of this is who I'm getting behind. So that's why I said I think the definition has changed.
But the question is, brothers, changed into what? Because I think Baron Corbin is best as a funny heel. I never took him seriously as like this dark brooding. I'm dark and I'm brooding and I'm a lone wolf and I wear leather and I have my hair back and it's like, I don't believe you. You're skinny. You're skinny fat. Like you don't scare me. If I see you walking down the street, I don't care. Like I'm tall too. But like when he became like a weasel and I was like, okay, this is funny. He's good at this. Because I genuinely hated his guts. I hated his guts for the right reasons though, because he really made me hate him, not just because he came down like, yo, look at me, I'm tough. I'm moving my arms like this and I got tattoos and my hair slicked back and I'm a lone wolf. What are you, lone wolf? What are you for what? Tell me. But it's like, okay.
Come along. Right. What is your backstory?
Yeah, and
makes sense.
Where did you come from? Why are you a lone wolf? Were you raised by wolves or were you by yourself? Tell me something. You just coming out like this, moving your arms like this back and forth with your vest on and your tattoos. But then like when he became a jerk and he got rich and he lost it and then he got rich again, I'm like, okay, this guy's annoying, but it worked for me. And I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, all right, with this new Triple H era, there's a blurred line of, okay, what's babyface? What's good guy? What's bad guy? What's anti-hero? What's just flat out cool? To the point where Bron Breakker, I expected him to clothesline Jey Uso and then keep it going. But to me, what I saw was a finish to a story. And I'm like, uh-oh. Brian H., you seem to be convinced that he may have unfinished business in his bloodline storyline. But I don't know if that's really the case right now, because I'm like, well, why would he take a backseat to a storyline that made him? But he's kind of a self-made man on his own. He's got his own show.
He don't have unfinished business. They got unfinished business. Roman need help.
But why would I take you? I hear you. But what did he say on his promo? Roman made this hard for me. My family made it hard. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
He can stay all that way. But when Roman's the tribal chief come calling, the real tribal chief, and make no mistake about it, he still answer to the tribal chief. He still a seat at that table.
I don't know. He's got the if you have enough power to get blue in the new Intercontinental Championship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Is he in a better situation than Roman right now?
Bro. He's a full-blown crip now, bro.
Full-blown.
He's a full-blown what?
Full-blown, bro. Full-blown crip.
No, but that blue, black and gold Yeet shirt was hard.
Yes, it is. That's nice.
Yeet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot going on with Monday Night Raw, especially with this conversation. Okay,
they setting us up for Netflix.
They bingo something.
Them executives at the shows, don't make no mistake about it, when they hit them big cities. Them executives at the shows, yo, they in the front row. You know what's so funny? Real quick, it's a little off subject, but we getting there.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching today's Nostalgia Freaks moment of the day. Ben thought it was funny. It was Kofi Kingston and Brock Lesnar, right? 5 years ago. It falls on the floor. So we was watching the whole SmackDown, and when I watched it, guess who was in the front row? Like when they showing Goldberg and they showing like different wrestlers.
Who's that?
Nick Khan. Now, mind you, this is 2019. We don't know who this guy is. Like Cal said, unless you was like tapped into like Hollywood agents, because people may remember he was Ariel Helwani's agent.
Yeah, yep. He was the Rock's agent for a little bit.
Yeah. So you may not have known who he was, but like it was just like not. It was obviously it wasn't directed on, but it's, they put the camera shot, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yo, that's Nick Khan, because now I done seen his face, shook his hand plenty of times. So it's like now we know, but like he was setting up probably already at that time, sort of plotting his way into WWE. You know, I heard that he probably helped with the Fox deal. So, you know, that was before he was like full-blown part of the company. So, you know, I'm looking at like, you know, them suits, they there. You know, like I know they was at WrestleMania.
Of course.
Quietly.
Yeah, you know, because like you know, most of the time on the other side, you don't buy those seats. Those
Sure.
You know, they waiting for people.
So they can be on TV on purpose.
Yeah, like remember last year,
For the
Jamel
camera
Hill,
shot.
she interviewed somebody, and she's like, "Well, yeah, me and my husband, we could be right at WrestleMania." And I'm like, and having so Krista ran into her in the bathroom.
What are the chances of that?
Yeah, I'm like, don't even watch wrestling. They get free tickets to the shows. They were doing tickets.
Felt some type of way, did you, Brian H?
Yeah, like Colin Cowherd of all people.
Yeah, he's just like, okay,
this
I'm media.
mofo who said this when I was up at the 4-letter, he was there too. And I used to not like look at his show on purpose. And people, my boy Kahar, be like, "Yo, he's funny." Like, no, I want to hear it. He would insult wrestling fans every chance he got. Wrestling fans,
he's one of those
booger eating boys that live in the basement with their mom. Yo, he was one of those.
Oh,
and I was like, "Yo, screw you, dude." And then I'm sitting there. I'm like, I was watching watching WrestleMania 39 on playback one day, because you know it had the greatest WrestleMania main event ever. And I was sitting there, and I'm like,
I hope you're not talking about anything for WrestleMania 9. That's just
WrestleMania 39. Man, I tell you, them ones with the 9s. 39, 30 to look 9, 19, 29, 39, all great.
Now you can start with 19. You don't have to add 9 in there. That's not a thing.
9, yeah. And they going back, baby. It was so good. They going back where it was this year.
It was so. I know one thing. It better not be in a parking lot like as trash WrestleMania 9 was, and I better not see a camel or nobody dressed in freaking Caesar Palace turbans.
I'm gonna take you right past Caesar Palace. I was like, get a picture right there because you seen that image on the screen of one of the greatest WrestleManias.
Do they have bathrooms out there? Because I want to take a dump in that area just to commemorate.
You ever seen The Hangover?
No, I have not. But I'm familiar with what you're referring to.
The real Caesar's Palace, is it? Shout out to my former manager Audrey, because she definitely went up to the desk guy like, "This is the real Caesar's Palace." The guy was like, "Everybody does that when they come here."
This isn't the real Caesar's Palace, is it?
Like Caesar didn't live here, but yeah, you know. But yeah, man, look, I'm trying to tell you, like I said, that WrestleMania, Colin Cowherd sitting there, and I'm like, you was just insulting everything about this business that we love.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I ain't like him for years after that. Don't insult. Like I was at Morgan State today, and the guy who was like serving the wine, he was like, I had shout out to the homies who gave me the wrestling is kayfabe clothing. Wrestling is real. People are fake hoodie, and he was like, "Yeah, it's real." I said, "Daggone right, it's real." He's like, "Them injuries real." I said, "Yeah." When you get a phone call from one of your friends that they on their way to the hospital because of a match, then yeah, I said that's why everybody knows. Don't say it's fake around me.
Yeah, you had every right to defend the culture. You got a chance to defend the community. I didn't know he was burying wrestling fans like that.
I didn't know either. Yeah,
that's CW talking about. He the one who brought it to my attention. Me and him was up at the 4-letter together. Well,
he calls it the 4-letter. I call it the mousetrap. I don't answer to nobody. Oh boy! But Monday Night Raw is.
Oh my gosh, bro!
I don't know, man. I don't just call me crazy, but I've just been having a lot of fun watching
wrestling is
television.
Good.
Usually we don't, for what did you watch?
And then Wednesday comes.
Right, there you go. But I was like, well, you know what? I think this week we should highlight some of the things that will kind of help lead us into the main event of tonight's show, which is the Bad Blood PLE preview, which is this Saturday start time at 6 p.m. in Atlanta.
Bro, why they started so early? It's homecoming.
Yeah,
I know, right?
That's gonna be conflicting because it's
you're gonna get on campus at 6 anyway, so there you go.
It's Summer's birthday. It's a whole lot going on. So I don't know where the heck I'll be at on. I'm almost sure I know where I'll be at, and it's probably where I'm at right now. But it's okay. But You know where we were on Tuesday? We got it, ladies and gentlemen. We got a brand new, rebranded NXT debuting on CW, WWE back on broadcast television, and the first episode of NXT on CW took place this past Tuesday at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Central. First and foremost, good brothers, did you enjoy or do you like the rebrand of what we're seeing? We're seeing they kind of got rid of that old NXT logo. They brought back a very similar looking logo to the original, but we have a brand new black and silver look to NXT for this new era. How you guys feeling about NXT on CW so far? I know it's only one show, but you know, people need to know.
I was satisfied with it.
Talk about
it. It lived up to what it was supposed to be.
Which was,
to be honest, with CM Punk, you had a couple of surprises. You had Bianca and Jade show up. Nobody was really expecting that. The matches were okay. They were good. They were good enough for TV. To tell the storylines or whatnot. I know Brandon is going to have an issue with the Roxanne match, but I thought that was that was a good way to start the show, to be honest. And then with the return of Cora Jade, it was all great stuff from what I've seen, except that main event. It felt kind of flat to me, but you know. But they make the right decision by giving him the belt, by giving Trick the belt. But for business reasons, because to be honest, he is the face of NXT. He's great. He
kind of is.
As far as like out in the community, doing promos, going out doing other cross branding opportunities and this and that, whatever. But his in ring, bro. Ooh.
Oh, wait a minute. Ooh. So you time out. Okay.
Ooh.
Hold on. Time out.
I love you though, bro.
So are you pretty much saying that you're still not necessarily sold on Trick Williams' in-ring performance? What are we talking about, brother? Are we talking about his moveset? Are we talking about him telling a story? Are you talking about his deliveries, his selling? Now, you know, you're a Dolph Ziggler guy, so I know your status for selling are really high. I need to know this.
I want to say it's his moveset and also, I guess, his pace. He's always amped up. And when he's so amped up, he just, the young lady, what's her name? Tortellini said this on Mouthing Off with Mike, the nightcap last night when we was on the show. It's just a bunch of limbs going everywhere. Everything looks kind of everything just looks sloppy. Like,
hold on, bro.
The trick shot, it looked kind of sloppy. You
know, like, up, bro. hold on, brother. Okay, continue. You said the limbs flying everywhere. This is getting good. Go ahead.
I didn't say it though. She said it. But literally, that's the only way to explain it. It just looks like he's out of control. You know how like the tall basketball, like say, you know, we play basketball and whatnot. You always have that one tall guy who looks like he's very athletic, but he's uncoordinated. Yep. That's what it looks like.
I used to be that guy at the age of 15.
Hey, it takes a real man. He admitting it.
I can admit. That's what I said. At this point in my life, I can say, yes, I know, brother.
Wasn't dude at Morgan that way when we was there?
Yeah.
Oh, it was a couple of them.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about too.
Yeah. But why? I think that is a very detailed breakdown. I'm glad you said everything that you said about that, brother Hugh, because I think that is, I was about to give him a compliment about his in-ring work, but it's like looking at it with a very precise eye. You know what I mean? Because we that's one of the things that we've said when you're creating guys from scratch, right? And we were like, he's got the look, he's got the presence. Let's continue to see how he develops. And this was his chance, like I said, and for you to say that you think that it pretty much fell flat. But that was, you know, all right. That sounds pretty solid though. But overall, you enjoyed the show, brother Hugh, for the most part.
I enjoyed the show. And like I said, I enjoyed
the look of it.
The look of it, it was great.
Okay.
The logo, clean, simple. I said it in the chat. Simple is straight to the point, direct, right in your face. That's what was needed. I love the color scheme. I love everything about it. And then when you compliment it with the little bit of gold trimming or whatnot that you added into the belts, oh yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. I'm getting kind of like I guess we'll talk about it a little bit later when we talk about the belts, but
it's coming.
All right, so I'm gonna leave it there.
Yeah, you guys thought you guys took the night off on Tuesday, right? Okay, yeah. Well, guess what? We're gonna have a little championship culture tonight. Brother Brandon, you in the hot seat, sir. How did you feel about NXT finally debuting on CW? They got a new look, got a new feel for it. Not the most star-studded event, but it held up. We were watching TV in here, and Nina goes, "Why does NXT look so packed?" I said, "They on the road now. Like it's different." And I think partially she didn't understand that NXT is a part of WWE, but hey, it is what it is. But
State Arena, baby.
They're gonna have to have a big show next week. They're going up against AEW.
Randy Orton should be showing up, isn't he?
Yeah, Title Tuesday.
Oh, I'll see. There's a little bit of infringement going on, but Brother Brandon,
right.
Feel about NXT or debuting on CW? Was it a successful debut? Did you get from it what you felt you needed from it as a wrestling fan? How did the look suffice? You called it. You were the first one to say, "Look, I think they're going to probably change the look," and I wasn't sold on it. I'm like, well, why would they do that? And best believe they did.
Sure enough.
So it looked great. The matches were not memorable to me, and I'm gonna just say this. I guess I'm comparing it to the debuts that we have currently. I'm gonna go back and watch the first episode of Rampage before I watch this again.
Oh.
Only because this didn't.
Right.
No, I'm saying the first episode of Rampage was great because of the Christian Cage and Kenny Omega match. That's what I'm gonna go back.
That's the only thing I'm gonna go. Though. What else happened?
That's the point. But that's my point. I will go back and watch that before I watch anything on this show. Nothing on this show really made me say I want to go back and watch this again. And NXT has so many matches that you want to go back and watch. And I felt like with this, I was like, I've seen better. And I think in my mind, I was looking forward to like NXT WrestleMania again. You know what I mean? But I was like, okay, they didn't promote it that way. They promoted NXT, which I'm like, all right, they're actually doing it this way. And it was like some segments, some matches could have been saved for another time. Some things I felt out of place. It was like, all right, what are you really doing here? What are we really getting? You know what I mean? And it was like, it was a NXT show. And just like you said, I kind of changed my mind on Trick, not his in-ring work, but why you knew they were going to put the belt on him, because at the end of the day, he doesn't have to be a 5-star wrestler. He just has to be the face of the brand, which is perfect because that's what he is. He's that send him on the road, do what you got to do. What is NXT? Him. You know, with the other people that you're going to promote with him, but it's him. You get what I'm saying? So it's a perfect era, a perfect start to it. I think the wrestling just wasn't memorable for me. And that's just my personal opinion. I'm not going to go back and say, let me seek out this match like I would Tiffany Stratton and Thea Hale, or like the triple threat match of Obafemi, Brooks Jenner, and Dijak. I'm not going to go back and seek any match on this show. I'm going to go back and say, you know what? NXT has delivered more than now. I'm going to go back and watch more of that. And Hugh's not lying. Trick he did an Iranagi, a rock bottom, and a booking all at the same time. And you can tell Ethan Page was like, what am I doing here? Yeah, he did. And I feel like I've never been a wrestler, never taken a bump. I know enough about wrestling. I feel like he's overcompensating to protect the person, but sometimes it comes off wrong. Like, I don't want to hurt you, but I'm missing my mark. You know what I mean? I'm trying to protect you and myself at the same time, because he's not a wrestler. He was an athlete. And, you know, a lot of times athletes, you go off muscle memory. And that's what wrestling is. And I feel like he's trying to protect. And his thing of protecting and not want to hurt somebody, it comes off bad. Especially like, if you can't do your finisher, come on now. And if I felt like, oh, that's it. All right, are we ready to get something screwy? What's about to happen? Are we getting a debut? And I was like, oh, CM Punk go to sleep. Oh, okay. Yep. Don't want to see Ethan Page versus CM Punk. Don't care about that. Move on. Leave out Ethan Page alone. Let him stay. Let him stay where he's at. Don't.
The Ethan Page hate is unacceptable. I will not stand here.
Listen to what I'm saying. Keep Punk away from him. Leave Ethan Page alone. Leave him right there. He's doing fine. I don't need him with CM Punk. I need Ethan Page to keep doing what he's doing at NXT.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of a.
I was about to say one-off, right?
Yeah, it was.
That's what I'm hoping.
It was a moment, but I'll wait. I'll digress to Brad H finishes it. But yeah, I mean it's okay. All right, so we have two different perspectives so far, two different eyes, which is one of the greatest things about this particular show is we have let me say 2, 4, 6, 8. I have to count eight eyes that look at the product differently, and sometimes we see the same, sometimes we don't, but there's always a different perspective on the points as to why said individuals like what they like or prefer what they prefer. But it's something like you'd be surprised what you learn and what you catch on to based off what your brothers are pretty much saying as to why they didn't like what they like. But okay, all right, Brian H.
Yes, sir.
NXT.
Mm-hmm.
You were one of the first people that put me on the NXT and used to try to force me to watch it. And when I mean force me to watch it, it was on Hulu when it first started. And he like, bro, here's a Hulu account. Like, hey, just when you get it, like check it out every Wednesday. And I'm like, all right, I'll get to it. Yeah, and it depended on how my iPad acted that day was with whether I can get into it. And this was back when I don't think they knew what NXT was. NXT then looks more like NXT now with the incorporation of main roster guys having matches along with the new talent, which CM Punk was heavily involved with. He's had back and forth with CM Punk. I mean, CM Punk with Seth Rollins, where he was the first NXT champion, and at one point they tagged together. So to see what NXT is now compared to when it first started versus that middle run, the black and gold indie run, as I call it, or the indie superstar run, was quite different. But this is a new era. It's black and silver. This is the DX era of NXT, as I like to call it. But
that's exactly it.
What did you think of NXT's debut on the CW? It's broadcast television. It's a weekly show, but they hyped it up very well. They brought it to us, and clearly the fans were in attendance for it. So, how did you feel about it?
And by the way, isn't the CW app free? You can download the CW app for free.
Yeah, see, I watched quite a few cartoons and stuff on CW, like random old Star Trek cartoons. Yes, that is on CW. I used to watch Supergirl on CW. Like, if I didn't catch it weekly, I would go on. They would have like either a day after or a week later or whatever the case may be. So I'm very familiar with the CW app, but and like all those shows that were in syndication, they're free on the CW app. So, Brian H., how did you feel about it, sir?
It was about the moments and also the matches, but the moments. It's weekly television, so you gotta sell tickets for St. Louis, but then you also gotta bring eyeballs back to St. Louis next week. So for instance, like opening, you start off with Shawn Michaels, Triple H, boom.
DX.
People familiar. If you scrolling through TV and you like, oh wait, I know these guys. They bald now, but whatever. And then you see new titles. So then personal. You go from there.
What? It was personal.
You didn't have to say that. Like we know
they
are.
I'm just saying. But I'm saying that's the like somebody like my sister would be watching. But okay. Considering the documentary just came out, people may be like, oh, those are the guys from that Vince doc. So you go from there. Then you see Roxanne and Julia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Loved the match, loved everything about it. Of course, Roxanne was going to win. I told you, superstar. But here's the thing, like the fact is, like, cliffhanger, right? Because you just brought back Cora Jade. Now, you watching the match, if you know a little bit about wrestling, you want to tune back in because you're like, wait, what's going on? What's the whole deal? Especially later on when she said, look, maybe a common enemy can bring us back together.
Right.
So now,
what's that about?
Yeah, bingo, right? Shout out to Wes Lee and Zachary Wentz. I mean, those guys, the chemistry is undeniable. And they just went out there and just beat the hell out of each other. It was the true essence was undeniable. Of well, I'm not sitting up here picking apart what didn't work.
I'm just glad he hurt himself because I was like, oh, he missed that. I say, I'm glad he hurt himself.
Yeah, this is the epitome of like what you hear when you say the two brothers get in a ring and two people they trust each other. Like Jericho used to say this all the while about C. Benoit, about when
great alias, perfect.
Oh my gosh!
You hit each other the hardest. So I thought that was great. And then you also saw next week. That's where you had Obafemi, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even like now, it's Shawn Michaels. He tried to tell us that he don't know what his Internet Explorer page is and all that. And
you weren't buying that, Brian H?
No, bro. Did you see that women's match?
I thought you and I thought
No,
you.
he may not, but he surrounded himself with people that do.
Fair enough. Because you guys supposed to be best friends. And he said, I don't know how to use NXT. I don't know how to use my Internet Explorer page. He said, did he just say Internet Explorer page?
Exactly. And so what he had all the pretty ladies out there at one time, right? You have Kalani sitting over there who's growing rapidly by the minute. Like she is developing a personality. And it's almost like when we watched Daniel Bryan become champion, the world champion for the first time, how we saw his personality jump right into it. It was like, wait, who is this guy? Get your hands off. Like she's obviously not a heel, but she's like she's not playing that happy to be here. I'm happy to be champion role. Like she's owning the moment. Then the whole thing with Jada Parker and Lola Vice, I thought was just well executed. Jada's somebody who will constantly run her mouth, but like Lola's like, no, I got this. I'm the real fighter here. Let me handle it. Like, all right, and then you bring out your heavy hitters, Bianca and Jade,
the money makers.
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls.
Now, and guess what? Next week they got a match. So, and then Obafemi, come on, man, a star. That I'm waiting for.
He's getting there.
I'm waiting for the stadium entrance. That's what I'm waiting for. And then Tony D'Angelo, I may not be like the biggest Tony D'Angelo fan, but for some reason I really like this pairing. I get it. So, and then
and he has track match
by this time,
you sound like Brother Hugh.
It was, I'm more lenient on Trick Williams because
he's new.
The words of Chris Collins. Here's a guy who rose to the occasion, and it's a business that dictates you that, like, once you get a certain level of overdone, as I make up that word,
it's clever.
You have to like kind of go with them, or else you lose steam, right? And the fact is, Trick brings eyeballs to the product. It's the reason why this dude takes his shirt off everywhere. That dude know he look good. He know the ladies gonna thirst over him, and then it don't matter because he got his own lady. And
where is she?
Who, Lash?
That's a problem. Where is she?
Where is she? Where?
She might be there next week. I like when I see those memes like, can Trick fight?
But my bag. Continue, please.
But yeah, so you see what you see, but he sells tickets. He's on all these shows. He's on Wild 'N Out. He's front row at Magic Games and stuff. That they set them up perfect for crossover. When you looked at that, oh my goodness, I forgot the name, but it was a NASCAR driver who came in second place, right? Kalani Jordan and Ethan Page was at the NASCAR event this week. And then but on the car, you also had Trick Williams' face and you had Roxanne Perez's face.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Shout out to WWE Meets Pop Culture, hosted by Queen PR. All the details on there. So when you see all of that and you see these guys, right? You see, okay, weekly television, crossover appeal. That's the reason why I'm always like Trick had to he kind of had to learn. He had to play the Diesel role, but he didn't have enough experience like Diesel. Because by the time Diesel was learning from Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, he was already like a 5, 6, 7 year veteran.
Sure.
Trick is still like green as grass, coming out of the front. He's for all intents and purposes fresh off the gridiron. So even Melo said one time he had to tell him like, dude. He's like, yeah, we got to go in the locker room and show them who we are, man. Let them know we belong. He's like, whoa. You don't go into the wrestler locker room like that. You think you're going to walk into a locker room with Roman and the Usos in there, the bloodline?
Chill out.
No,
that's the wrong group. Like, you named all the wrong people to do that in front of.
Exactly, because they was on a SmackDown show. This was, remember when they was changing his gear up? So he was doing that loop. Like when he's on main event, but see, that's having somebody like Melo right there, and again, this is the type of stuff. See, he was wrestling with people like Dragunov who can sit up there and make me have a 5-star match, and with Melo who could do the same thing. So, and they knew how to play to his strengths. Where it's interesting to watch with Ethan Page because it's like they don't have that same type of breaded chemistry, but they also didn't spend that much time together. Like, You can see probably him and Dragunov probably did a lot of like classes and stuff together. I know Ethan Page was talking about he goes to the classes that they offer down there, but it's I don't like I said, I know it's easy to say, you know, I know a lot of people who ride for Trick say, yeah, that match, but you know, it was about that moment. It's gonna make people tune in next week.
Oh man,
especially when we get Javon Evans versus Randy Orton, Hugh's favorite wrestler.
That young boy.
The reason I knew he was gonna win. Did you notice when the ring announcer said, "Will Trick be one of the 6 to join and be a 2-time champion?" I said, "Oh, he's getting it. He's officially." I said when they started mentioning his stats, I said he's definitely getting it.
See, I wasn't going to pay attention to all that stuff.
Me neither, but I knew he was going to win when Roxanne won.
I don't know what planet I've been living on, but I was not convinced that he was going to win tonight until
I don't be. I just wait.
That's because you like Ethan Page. You are Ethan Page, and I'm one fan.
But I'm like, but I was like, yo, he's not dropped on Saturday night, is it? But then I was like, then they got new belts, and I was like, well, he might. But then again, I was like, well, how long has he had it? It was like, maybe he might. I swear,
84 days.
And I was okay with that. I was like, yo, I'm good with it all. But I think I've been allowed to watch the show with a level of childish purity because I'm telling you, I didn't see none of that coming. I was just watching like, I was like, oh snap, what's going on? But
that's why I popped when I said for Jade. When I saw her, I was like, oh boy, because you know we seen them as a babyface, kind of like Sasha and Bayley. We seen them as baby faces, but now we get to see those two together as heels.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting Stephanie to get involved somehow. Like, not physically get involved. She just show up and she'd be like, oh, okay. And then, you know how wrestlers are. That's a big distraction, you know, and then maybe she'll get rolled up or whatnot. But, yeah.
Look, HB Kizzle said, we ain't doing that Vince-ish.
Hey, well, Bruce-ish. I'm with it.
HB Kizzle, man. I'm telling you, producer Sean, the GOAT.
Nah, I was definitely happy with the show. It's like I said, I'm in the middle. It's not the most.
I don't watch it twice.
You said you did?
I watched it twice. Yesterday I watched it with depressed eyes. Today I had to rewatch it again.
Just to make sure. Watch it with clear eyes. I'm in the middle. Like like I said, this is not the most star-studded group. I thought that this is probably one of the better Trick Williams outings that I've seen. Now it doesn't negate to what you said, brother Hugh, where it's like it doesn't change all those things of like, okay, clearly there's room for him to improve, but I think it's like any sport, they tell you you can practice all you want. There's nothing like live experience, right?
Absolutely.
And where else in any developmental territory can you get into a sold-out arena like as if you had a full-blown pay-per-view, but it's weekly television. Usually you have to wait your turn to get those experiences and learn from, hey, this is what this works with a live audience. This is the, like you said, the pacing. That was that joint crushed me when you said that, brother. You said his pace. I was like, you're right, because I've been saying that about Joe since the beginning. Like, bro, his pacing is off sometimes, and it's like you could never put your finger on with it. But when you said pace, I said that's what it is. I said his pacing is off in the ring when he's trying to tell these stories, but it's like you got to slow down, kid. You know, and I'm not saying that to him personally, but I'm saying that's what all the vets usually are often saying. Like, kid, you got to slow down. Slow down. I know you want to get your stuff in, but slow down. And it makes a difference. Not something I'm going back to watch it. Like, oh, I got to go back and watch. Like I'm watching Samoa Joe versus Jay Briscoe for the Ring of Honor World Title. Like I go back and watch this. I'm not going back to watch that match necessarily. But like I said, I'm in the middle.
That was my point. I'm not gonna go back and watch this.
Sure, but also it's like I'm in the middle because like once again, it was weekly television. So it's like I think the expectation might have been too high. But it's like, well, it's like, you know, for them. Is the
expectation really too high when we've had really good NXT TV? Like we've had really good Raws. I just wanted to see a really good. To me, I felt like, it's moments are there, but at the core of it, you know NXT is going to give you something each week. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, yep, dang, that was a good show. You know what I mean? Whether it's high or lows, I felt like it was too many moments for me.
Think about weekly television. Like, I think that was the sell job. I think they convinced us that was what it was going to be, but they gave us something completely different. It's because, like Brian, they said, they want you to come back next week. So It's like, AEW does that all the time. We're going to have the greatest show this week, and we're going to call it something. We're going to call it Winter West Smash Fest, and this is going to be a special episode this week. And it's like, okay, cool. Then it's like it was a regular show, and I'm like, bro, I'm kind of let down about it. You know what I mean? So it's like, so when it comes to weekly television, I get what you're saying, but it's just like, well, it's like it was just a debut for the new network. They just made it seem like it was going to be a pay-per-view, which tells me is that their marketing department did a good job. It's because they gave us the special moments. They never said it. It's like we know our wrestlers are relatively unknown, and we know their developmental talent. That's not the selling point. The selling point is the moments. We're going to have DX come out because the live audience wants to see DX. They're going to have crowd participation. Are you ready? We're going to unveil the belts. They could have waited to debut those belts during the matches. They didn't. They started to show off that way. Hey, new company, new belt. So they gave us all the pops and the pizzazz, knowing that, hey, our talent is still developing. Like, don't expect WrestleMania right now. And don't expect, like, this isn't a pay-per-view. This is really just to get us to next week. But we got to make this week make it seem like it's bigger than next week or the week after that. It's because, once again, your TV network is saying, hey, this is a new partnership. We're just trying to get our point across. So it's like, yeah, sure. They got me too. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, all right, well, because I'll be watching next week once again because I hear Randy Orton is going to be on there with Javon Evans. Like now after that, I know I'm someone that doesn't watch NXT every week. I catch it when I catch it, but it's not like, okay, cool. Now that they beat on CW, I'm going to keep watching it. No, I'm going to respond to it the same way. But once again, the machine was like, okay, look, we're going to change some colors. We're going to give you this. We're going to give you that. We're doing things differently for it. So like I said, they got me too, but I'm in the middle. I'm the balance of it all. Like, okay, I get it. Like, yeah, sure. I came for the celebration. I didn't get like, oh my God, that was a great, this particular week of weekly television was greater than everything. No, that's what the pay-per-views are for. And of course, they want you to come back next week. They want you, but you gave me enough. You gave me new belts. You gave me new colors. You gave me good scenery. You know what I mean? You gave me the backstage stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's let this young talent develop. But I tell you what, they didn't have any time developing.
What's that?
Brand new NXT championships. Watch everybody. Watch championship culture's eyes come alive for this moment. Here we go. Welcome to another episode of Championship Culture. I'm Brandon the Guy, and everybody has a story. So we got new belts, guys. That was good, wasn't it? That was, did I do it right?
That was on point.
Okay, all right. So we talked about NXT on CW. We talked about it, and we mixed opinions about it, which is fine. But they started off pretty hot, and they started off in a way that you guys usually can relate to, because you spend every week talking about championship culture, championship titles, conversations, controversies, so much and more. But we have new NXT championship belts for the men and the women. Let us break this down. How do you guys feel? First and foremost, we knew we would get new belts. Let's just preface this. Like we knew it was coming. When we realized that they were changing everything about NXT and they didn't change the titles, we said, okay, they're waiting for a moment to unveil these things. And they kind of went ahead and said, look, we're doing a bit of another rebrand, or, the evolution of what NXT is going to be and is now. So they waited. And here we have it, gentlemen. We have brand new NXT championships. How do you guys feel about these titles?
I like them. I like them a lot. Now that I'm looking at it, it gives me UFC vibes. To be honest, it looks like the UFC heavyweight title or a world championship. It's just simple. It throws the fact like you are the world champion right in your face. You had the big globe, NXT branded right across the front in big letters. It's big, bold, straight to the point in your face. You know, whoever has that belt is the champion. Just from the look of it, you see what I'm saying? It's not like the traditional type of belt.
Sure.
It's more simplistic. Like the traditional type of belt has a lot of etching and extra design and whatnot in it.
Yep.
We don't get that with this.
Mm-hmm.
Simple, plain, to the point. Beautiful. I like it.
Okay. Brother Guy, 2 cents, please. How do you feel about these new NXT Championship belts?
No tip, though.
Yeah, the no tip is bothering you. It looked like it on the thing, but when you look at the pictures, it's no tip.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Sorry, brother.
I will say this.
So I was disappointed.
So initially when I saw it, I said, this is perfect. And the reason I'm saying it's perfect because Triple H has done such a great job of giving us the next evolution of a belt. So it's not like it's totally different and he's still paying homage to the design wasn't broke. Why try to fix it, right? And this is the first time, I'm glad you put the women's belt right there, that I must say the women's belt looks better than the men's belt. And it's something about how the white strap has complemented the design and the gold and the silver appeal. And if you notice in previous NXT versions, they're usually inverted, where there would be gold on a woman's, it would be silver on the man's belt. But this time they are exactly the same, minus the strap. Of course, you can argue the semantics of where they put women's there, but when you look at this belt, it looks just like a throwback to it with a modern feel. We have the globe now. It's NXT. I think that was done strategically because we kept hearing rumblings about NXT Europe, Japan, all these different things. He's setting the stage to do things like this. This is the first time, and I had to make sure I wasn't going to misquote, and I know somebody's probably going to fact check me that the WWE is not on the NXT logo. So if you look at the other versions, like on the UK, whenever you saw the NXT, it usually had the W and the X. Remember, now it's definitely by itself. It's there. Everything about this belt, the rivets on the side stayed the same as in previous belts, which to me is Triple H saying put some metal on the belt. You know how we say he metals up everything.
Oh my gosh.
the I don't want to call it chain link, but in the circle, you see how they have those little chain link thing. He kept that design going, so that way that's a throwback to the original one. This belt. That's why I went to go grab it. Throwback to this one too. So everything about it looks like just an upgrade to a belt, but still going back to say, hey, look where it came from. This is the next evolution of it. But now it doesn't have the X as the focal point. It has the words. And I think this is where we begin to say this is the third brand. We have Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. To me, that's what this belt says. It's no longer a developmental where we're playing with the, regular league, and it won't be call-ups. It'll be call-overs or drafted to. I think that's going to be the next thing that we see. Because NXT is the cool place for people to go. And look at this title now. It looks like a viable. Yeah, it looks like a viable championship again. That color spread, I think, destroyed it, and this just looks like I would translate it on TV as well. It looked good. The only fear I have for the men's belt is giving you the Brian H. Waters belt feel. His ECW.
Yes, Brian H.'s first replica championship title publicly
because it's so much silver. You know what I mean? Like you can't see the gold. It looked like it was so silver and black. Yeah. But overall, I think it's a great job. They put 3 X's on the strap. I guess they're hardcore too. But it's instead of one line, it's all 3 now. So if you. But overall, I think it was well worth the wait. I think that is a great, simple but clean looking belt. I would just love to see what they're going to do with the side plates because remember one of the biggest issues is it's a different set for NXT and WWE. I can't put Finn Balor's side plates from his main roster on this one.
Oh, I
had to get a whole separate one. So that's the only thing I was like, I'm surprised they didn't keep it round or try to incorporate round to be able to interchange them. But then it's a money thing too because remember, Io Sky has 2 different sets. Charlotte has 2 different sets. They made another one. I think they made one with Becky, but it didn't sell that long. So that's the only thing. You're not going to be able to use the same side plates for the people if they go to, like Mello is going to have 2 different sets, one for the North American and NXT. Then if he wins the U.S. title, it's going to be a different one. So that's the only thing that I think was the drawback. But overall, this belt, if you don't look at this belt and say, wow, you're probably not a wrestling fan because it definitely hits all of those marks.
So you're telling me you're happy that there's like no stones on there? That
because the ribbons make up for it.
But I mean, you usually want to put some red on there. I mean, I'm just asking a question.
I thought the
froze.
You definitely.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Logo is just all one color. So the swoosh is then what it's called. Wasn't a different color. I'm really surprised at that because if you look at the branding material, only on the ring, I think it was it orange or gold behind it.
Might have been like a gold set. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
That's the only thing I'm surprised they didn't do. But I'm telling you, it's great looking belt. No arguing who the champion is. Just a tidbit. I don't think they're going to change the North American titles too much because they already have this style of logo on them. They never put their little longer N and longer T on there. And I couldn't believe it took me that long to realize it. But we definitely going to see new tag belts next week.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling it right now.
Do you have new tag champions in mind, or?
Yeah, because what's going to happen is they're going to switch, and then the Motor City Machine Guns are going to come, so they can debut.
Oh boy, man! Won't that be the quite the epic debut for the Motor City Machine Guns? Brian H. You're a belt guy too. How do you feel? Brian, do you have any? You don't have an NXT championship, do you?
Nah.
Do you have a desire?
Wait, the UK title.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you have the NXT UK title. Do you have a desire to add like the NXT championships? There's like 3 I need to add to my collection personally.
Yeah.
So you have intentions of adding NXT championships to your collection, correct?
Yeah, I sometimes kick myself because I think it was one time I had opportunity to get the Kevin Owens one for like 100, and I just flaked on it.
Oh yeah, you're wild. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I wish I'd have known
I hadn't bought a belt in years at that time, and but
so how do you feel about the brand new NXT championship? We've heard the host of Championship Culture and the producer of Championship Culture talk about the evolution of a title, and a lot of the physical representation of the evolution of NXT has been translated to the championships, right? And including some UFC inspirations, the shout out to TKO Sports, the merger. So I'm seeing a lot of these different elements incorporated into one. How do you feel about the brand new NXT championships?
I think the new belt sucks.
Like a Martin. I think radio show sucks.
No, it's good. It's good. I'm excited about them. Just looking at the aesthetic. I think it's going to look good on my future champions that I'm going to see wear those titles. But yeah, like you look at it, they do. It looks great. I like the globe in the background. So I think they did a great job with them. I'm very interested to see these belts out in the open, right? Like I mentioned earlier about Trick making his media rounds and Roxanne Perez. Like I'm very interested to see them out in the opens because I love the NXT being big as day. So.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
I definitely love them. I saw this. I was like, oh yeah, it's very rare that I'm very critical of things, wrestlers' gear and championship belts. And absolutely. And so when I saw them, I was like, oh, this is good. And I don't think I know it's difficult to do like modern take on championship belts versus like brother, you said that the traditional with etching and the curls and the flower patterns and the very royal looking regal gold imaging. But this is to me is an amazing balance of, hey, you know what this is, but hey, this is a modern feel to it. And like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing this in person. I will definitely be adding this to the collection. So shout 114. 114, that's the number?
Yes, 114.
4 payments of 114.
Yep.
So definitely shout out to WWE and NXT and Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and all those parties who are involved on the next evolution of NXT. We are looking forward to.
Did I tell you what I asked Roxanne about her belt?
What's that?
I told her that one day she's going to have a legacy title. So I asked her, what would it look like? And she was like, never been asked that question before. So as a journalist, I was like, check. It's always one thing I look forward to. But she said that she definitely wants some rhinestones in it, some jewels, and a little bit of color with the previous belt, because that's the one I think that they would do for her.
Sure. You think she would get like an NXT Legacy title?
Yeah, why not? She's the greatest NXT Women's Champion.
Oof, you say a lot of things sometimes.
Say that very convincingly. Yeah.
Okay.
She did it great as a babyface, great as a heel. She had to be given the title because somebody wanted to snitch on Mandy Rose, and I was like, but no, in all fairness,
would you put that in a room with Charlotte Flair?
Hey.
Yeah, because Charlotte Flair's legacy.
Like when he's right there, like if she's right there.
Yeah. Easily. I'm gonna tell you why.
Who do you think is the greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time?
Yeah, because if we being honest, everybody like to talk about the graps of it all. Roxanne Perez at 22 is better than Charlotte Flair at any point in time when Charlotte Flair was in NXT.
Oh yeah, of course. There's no Charlotte Flair was cutting the mustard.
She was just getting started, right? So and Shayna Baszler.
What was the group that she was in with Sasha Banks and Summer Rae?
Name of it.
Yeah, I forgot the
what
name
it was
of it.
called.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say that, Charlotte, Roxanne's the greatest NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah,
and
Charlotte.
She would probably say, well, yeah, you're right. You may be right. I mean, I love Roxanne. Charlotte is she's the greatest. One of them. Champion. Raw, SmackDown. She but she'll come for that big goal soon. We know.
Yeah.
But
Roxanne is better than Bayley and Asuka.
Yes.
No. Not better than Asuka.
Oh,
not really either one of them. There's no way in the world.
Oh my gosh.
There's no way in the world.
Because Bayley at that time, if you compare
not them two.
She only had a babyface run. And we're saying babyface versus heel. But Roxanne Perez is better than Bayley as NXT Women's Champion.
Yes, Bayley. After a while, that reign got boring. Bayley needed a fresh can of paint.
Roxanne has been bored
to you, to you, and that's fine. But I think Roxanne has found a way to go. I was very critical.
Bayley
of her
buddies
first
and stuff
run.
made me want to watch it. She made me want to watch a gimmick that I shouldn't be vested in. That's better than Roxanne has done. I didn't care about Bayley with that ponytail and the Macho Man jacket. I was like, what is she doing? Who is this lady out here being a hugger? Yeah, with tassels and everything. And I was like, oh, that's who she is. Roxanne,
it's easy to do that in front of 10 people, though.
Ooh,
now I'm gonna give you this with Asuka.
It's harder to do it in front of
Asuka is like, to me, nobody
belong in NXT.
She right. There's nobody's better than her. But Bayley, Bayley and Sasha did their thing in Brooklyn. I get that, but that was a one shot, right? And maybe another takeover. But after a while, I was like, okay, Bayley was going against Nia Jax overseas. Cool, whatever. Bayley wasn't doing media runs and having to balance that.
That was a different NXT. There was no media runs for that.
You have to, but the thing is, this is always and Dwayne, I'm about to hit a sensitive spot because this is what always happens when people go back and they say, well, this is how it used to be. This is what always happens with the Jordan and LeBron arguments, right?
Oh, here we go.
Things evolve.
No, I'm comparing. So, I'm saying that for the time frame that Bayley was in and the time frame is in, if you just compare their time frames, Bayley couldn't do media runs. I'm talking about, you say greatest NXT Women's Champion. So I'm only looking at the wrestling. You talking about all the extra stuff. We can talk about merchandise sales. We can talk about fan interaction. I didn't bring all of that in. I'm just talking about wrestling and drawing you in. I feel like Bayley was better because if we want to compare it, let's compare it. Who's better than Hogan or Cena? Come on now. Who's better?
Oh no, that's too high. You can't do that. Because you're talking about development.
Really?
That's too much of a stretch.
I'm
saying, but they're in two different eras. So even though you said Cena,
John Cena's the greatest until now is Roman Reigns. So you're
but
not
they're
going there.
You're
gonna get me there, but it don't matter.
Roman
Things
had
evolve.
16 title reigns. That's my point. So as they evolve, Bayley is still better than Roxanne
to you, but she's not. You're not going to change my opinion. The fact is, I'm going to say Roxanne because what I want from my women's champion, Roxanne delivers that. That is being able to deliver in the ring and also represent the company outside. Was she given the opportunities that Bayley wasn't? Absolutely. But I can only go on what's presented to me and give it to me. I can't say, well, if Bayley was this, Bayley was doing that. That doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. Bayley's legacy is never going to be, Bayley's legacy is far beyond NXT. She's essentially, I'm not going to say erased it, but she's done so much more and better that Bayley wouldn't have. Yeah, and that Bayley wouldn't have worked on the main roster in this climate today.
So here's $1 million question. Here's $1 million question. Who had the bigger impact on NXT? Now I'm not asking. I'm saying it's just something to talk about. I think when it comes down to
the one that got it sold to CW.
Clearly you got one, but see that's the same Cena and Hogan argument. You could say Cena made more money than Hogan, but why? It's because one did something in '84 and one did something in 2005. Now that has no
exactly. That
doesn't mean that Cena was better than Hogan, because Hogan's impact was bigger in 1983 than Cena's was in 2005. But I think when it comes to two different opinions, it always comes down to the impact on the business of where they are. So like I said, you have a conflict there. You definitely do. It's because on one hand, Brian H, you do have a point. What Bayley did after NXT is like far beyond what people won't remember what she did in NXT. But Roxanne Perez is just getting started. So it's like, well, her legacy is still being written. So it's like, hey, this is where the business is now. You know, like who would have thought
this is where the big boys play?
No, that was in 1998.
This is where the best wrestle.
Who exactly? That's AEW, right? So who would have
somebody lied?
But and I'm gonna just clear that. Even though y'all know Bayley is my favorite, I said Asuka is the greatest women's champion, but y'all threw that out because I know we gotta be unbiased towards it, because that's not fair to compare Asuka to anybody.
Yeah, to anybody.
You know what I mean? Like that's just not fair. But I'm just saying, like, who drew me in? Like, you're gonna laugh when I say this. Toxic Attraction drew me into the 2.0 because it was something different. But then when the bell rang, I said, "Oh,
yeah."
You get what I'm saying? It was something different.
Dude, and I thought still watching.
I said, "Okay, this is a good thing. I see where they're gonna go. I see what they're doing with this. Let me be vested in this." When I first saw Bayley, I said, "What is this?" I said, because that's during the time we had all these weird gimmicks, like y'all just said, and it was trying to figure out how does this work with these wrestlers. I'm not talking about men or women. I'm just saying wrestlers. Bayley did something different to draw you in, to put the NXT, when they all left her, she was NXT. You get what I'm saying? So without that, we won't have Bayley that we're talking about now. Without that portion and that run and that time frame, we don't have the Bayley that we are appreciating now. Roxanne right now is okay. Is she leaps and bounds better than the other women in the ring? Yes, but to me, she hasn't done the same thing to draw me in. Like, Sasha actually didn't become interesting to me until she got to the main roster, because I felt like she was always chasing something. It was like, this is her now. So that's why they put her in that conversation. Charlotte, legacy, like we said, she was destined to be, what is she, 15-time champion? Okay, cool, done.
30.
But yeah, you said 30. But like with Roxanne, whether I like it, I'm not taking away from what she's doing. I'm saying she's not, to me, her impact hasn't been as great as in Bayley's was, to change opinions, to say, okay, this is who we're going with.
Yeah, it's an interesting debate across the board. Like I said, I think really at this point you just kind of wait and see. To Brian H's point, because like I said, Roxanne is still kind of she's still kind of writing her ticket, right? And we'll see how long she stays in NXT. Some people,
when she leaves, it'll be a different conversation, because then you can say I don't think you can say she's the greatest NXT Women's Champion yet. Because
some people were so good that they didn't. Like, some people will never have a developmental legacy. It's because they just didn't need to be there long. Like a Rusev. Rusev was in NXT for a hot second. He had a gimmick, and before you know, he was gone. They already had an idea where they wanted to go with him, and they wanted to have the wide family and the Shield. they were there. Like they debuted in the main roster, had a hot second, but they have no real NXT legacy. Like it's, you know what I mean? Because they were there for the reason of, hey, we're just getting you ready for the next level. They were former FCW guys. They weren't going to be in NXT to get NXT over. They were done. It was developmental. So it is a tough call to make. It's excellent points on both sides, but this is where the evolution is right now, though, right? And like you said, from where it used to be with Bayley on Brandon's perspective versus Brian Ace, like, well, look, this is where it is now. This is a more complete version of what we're seeing now. The difference is Bayley's NXT run is over, and Roxanne Perez is just getting started. So now I'm intrigued. You guys sold me on this women's wrestling and on NXT, where I probably wasn't paying as much attention. But guess what? Now I'm going to be like, let me take a closer look at this because, you know, like I said, you guys both have good points, and you're both sticking by your perspective. So now I'm intrigued. So you guys just sold me on NXT next week. So if I wasn't going to watch it, then trust me, I make sure I'll be tuning into CW next week. But listen, we have to take a quick commercial break. We got to get in some ads because we still got the main event of the show. We're going over just a little bit.
Hey, it sounded like it, boy.
You guys got to clean your ears out, man. Orioles got y'all messed up. But we got to take a quick. We got to take a quick commercial break so we can come back and finish up with the main event of our show, which is the Bad Blood PLE preview. We're going to discuss the 5 matches that are set as of right now, and we will get into all of that and more right after this. Here we go. All right, broskies, that's a wrap. Black Wrestle Fest in the books. What y'all think?
Epic.
Brother Hugh?
Legendary.
Epic.
Legendary.
We had fun. We in these Brooklyn streets now.
The Rome is open in New York, baby.
Yeah, we said right.
For right now.
For right now. You can watch all of our Wrestling Realm content anytime on youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm.
Bro, really though? Short hair?
Right, yeah, the little midget braids.
Okay, listen. Well, if you think that's bad, how about I give you one more? Hold on.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we just want to let you know the Wrestling Realm is now on Twitch. Catch Brian H. Waters or the real Dwayne Allen, and maybe both of us doing some more interactive live videos immediately after shows, or you can also catch us playing some retro games such as WWF Raw or WrestleMania the arcade game. Make sure you subscribe to the Wrestling Realm on twitch.tv/Wrestling Realm.
Watch us and subscribe to our Twitch channel at The Wrestling Realm.
Sheesh, I
forgot
I recorded that. I ain't equalized,
sure
no
did.
de-esser, no compound. I forgot the word. All that mixed up. Compressor. I put a compressor in my voice.
You're welcome. I'll be. You're welcome. So we are back from all of those lovely ads about the Wrestling Room and where you can find us in different spaces. But this is the meat and potatoes of our show. We have a lot of eyes on the product right now, so we're gonna keep this ball rolling. I almost said Hell in a Cell. Bad Blood taking place this Saturday, October 5th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on Peacock, allegedly disguising itself as the WWE Network. So, once again, we have another PLA. This is one of the first ones we've had stateside in a while, right? And we have quite the card for this week's PLE, once again in Atlanta, Georgia. It is going to be insane. We have Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk in a Hell in a Cell match, as well as Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, the battle of the Judgment Day. And listen, speaking of Judgment Day, it's not quite over just yet because we have another grudge. We have Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley with Dominik Mysterio in a shark cage at the top of the over the ring, which is going to be a lot of fun. Not to mention, we have Brandon's girl. Look at him. Bang, bang, bang. Nia Jax versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. And we have the Pierre Resistance, the Bloodline, Solo SIkoa, and Jacob Fatu versus the original Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, and the undisputed WWE Champion. What do you... Cody Rhodes. That's Brother Hughes. Like, when did you join the Bloodline? Were you always a part of the Bloodline? Am I tripping?
Yes.
You always raised your ones. I gotta go back and watch the old footage and see. Like
he acknowledged Solo as his Tribal Chief.
No, don't.
No,
do
I'll
that.
tell you
Don't
what.
disrespect
When we were in Raw together, and Cody music came, and he recorded me singing the whole song, and the Usos came out. He was like, "I got to do it. I got to do it," and that's when he became. It was that moment. It was that moment. He couldn't. He was like, "Day one, it's just me." He was like, "Gonna do it," and I was like, "Okay, you go on, go ahead, do your thing." He was. That's when he became a member of the Bloodline.
Wow.
At that moment,
That was Jimmy's music.
I think Jimmy Uso's music is very underrated. I think the
I
popularity
love it. Yeah.
I think the popularity of Jey Uso has made people forget about Jimmy Uso's music. But speaking of Jimmy Uso, he may have something to do with this match between Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and the new Bloodline. But first, we are going to get into this Hell in a Cell match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. They came out on Monday Night Raw, and they cut promos pretty much alluding that they're going to make each other bleed. So this might be the return of blood. So if you see the feet go black and white, you know why. We will never see clips of these two in color ever again after this. Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. Ah, boy. Good brothers. Does this finally end this Saturday at Bad Blood?
It's going to end. I think it's time. Now, who wins? I don't know. But I do think it is. I think it's one of those things. They'll always be able to come back to it when they need to. But I think right here, it'll be 3. So
yeah.
I had to make a prediction for the record. I'm gonna go CM Punk.
Can I ask you why? Why are you going with CM Punk in this situation?
Just feel like that's where they would go. Because it's a win-win situation for both of them, moving forward. But I feel like I don't know. I just feel like Punk is gonna win because if Drew wins, then I feel like Drew will be back in the world title picture, and I don't think that's it for him right now. I don't think that's in the cards for him.
Okay. So, Brother Brandon, what's your 2 cents? Who wins this match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre? Are they going to kill each other? Because that's what they've pretty much alluded. We've got body bags, we've got bleeding. I said, okay, you guys have confirmed this is going to be quite the violent match.
you get ready. CM Punk wins.
Oh my goodness!
we
14744. That's the time code where Brother Brandon admitted that CM Punk was going to win the match. Everybody else caught that? You guys caught that?
Yep.
Please do tell, sir. Don't shake your head. You look so. Let me put him on the big screen because he's trying to don't be ashamed. We got to hear this now. You think CM Punk's going to win this match? Brian H thinks he's going to win this match because it makes the most sense and it keeps Drew what he's supposed to do, so it makes sense. Why do you think CM Punk should win this match?
It's time to rotate him around, and CM Punk, with Ilyanov being gone, they might have to push up plans sooner to get him back into that spotlight. I think that CM Punk is the next one to go towards Gunther, and I think that Drew goes somewhere else or he takes a break until Rumble, and so he can come back at Rumble to try to start their storyline that he can win the Rumble, he can, all of that stuff all over again. But overall, I think CM Punk needs this win while he's healthy before anything else happens. And this is the only way, because when you got a personal feud like this, it's got to be Punk. Punk is the one that's got to do something that's fighting for his wife and his dog. You know what I mean? So he's got to be the one to win. Drew is just saying, we didn't want you here. Get away. So, to give him that good feeling, Punk wins.
You say it so reluctantly, but it's okay. Brother Hugh, who wins this match? CM Punk or Drew McIntyre?
CM Punk wins it.
Wow, you guys are really convinced about this.
I mean, it just makes sense, to be honest. Okay. I think it's what the people will want. They've been asking for CM Punk for forever. Like Brandon said, he took most of my points anyway. It's personal.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Yeah. And
dang, what am I going to say now?
right. And yeah. I mean, it's personal, and like, CM Punk is injury prone.
Okay,
Get him while he's healthy. Get him off. Push. They already been teasing the feud with him. Well, not the feud, but him chasing the WHC. So we already know that's what's next for him. For the most part, you still have this Seth Rollins thing that you can maybe squeeze in there a little bit later after he's done with Bronson Reed.
Oh,
so
it's coming.
You have a couple of different directions for him. Drew is kind of like, all right. The next thing I can see for him is just to disappear for a little bit. He's so distraught from losing, Let me disappear. Let me gather myself and come back stronger.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, because it's like he could always come back just mad and beat people up, and It's like it would make sense. It's like why is he so angry? Because he lost again.
Absolutely.
CM
go hang
Punk
with your wife.
Oh, him and Damian Priest. Oh, he still got unfinished business with Damian.
Oh, that's true.
Yes,
I forgot about that.
There's plenty of stories to tell with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre outside of it, but to Brother Hughes' point, he said it just makes sense. He's injury prone. Something I noticed about CM Punk, and it might be a hot take, it might not be, but I said, you know what? Drew McIntyre, he said something that kind of struck a nerve with me, and he goes, "You've only been back here for a year, and for 4 months of that, you've been injured." And I said to myself, dang, he's only been back for a year. He's done more in probably 6 months out of the 6 or 7 months out of the 12 he's been there than he ever did in AEW. Only thing I remember about his run in AEW is his debut and then the fight. And I'm
that's crazy.
He has been.
I didn't realize it's only been a year.
That's what I'm saying. Like this, he said it. He was like, you've only been here a year. You've been on the show for 4 months out of that year. And I was like, so he has done stuff in NXT. He's done stuff with the young talent. He's been every freaking where. And I'm like, bro, he has made more of an impact.
It was last year Survivor Series.
Yeah.
He's made more of an impact in this 1 year. And this is what he always dreamed of doing, being able to be fluid, not locked in important storylines, not on the schedule every week, working with young talent, getting that respect. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, he paved the way for NXT. I don't care what nobody says.
Oh, absolutely.
He broke that glass. He was the first when it worked with him, and he was disgruntled. I think Triple H realized, like, okay, even though he's going about this the wrong way, he's probably right about some of these things, because Triple H adapted and adopted all the superstars eventually that came from his era and his style of professional wrestling, because those guys were never meant to become main event talent, but he showed that it was possible. And then you follow up with Daniel Bryan, so on and so forth, and then you get NXT. That's how I see it. So yeah, I am with you, good brothers, though. I do feel like, yes, CM Punk will most likely win this match. How? I don't know. That's what's going to be the exciting part. But let's head to the women. There you go, Brandon. Nia Jax versus Bayley. You just ripped into why Bayley is the greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time, and now she's here, and she's on the main stage against a momentum carrying Nia Jax. Not to mention, you got Tiffy Time still lurking around with that Money in the Bank briefcase. Does Bayley walk out of Bad Blood as the new WWE Women's Champion, or does she fall to Nia Jax, or do we see some type of dust up where maybe somebody else walks out of this event as the new Women's WWE Champion? You're on mute, buddy.
I think we see a new women's champion, but not this women's champion. I think Nia retains, though.
Really?
I think she retains. I think it's too soon, because I don't like the Crumley stick and all that. I think they're trying to figure out what to do with her. But Nia works better when you just let her be that heel. Let her just be that beat her up woman. You know what I mean? Like, she'll need the comedy act. She'll need the best friend following her around, because I hate when WWE does, put Hugh and Dwayne together, and then say, they've been best friends. We're best friends. Y'all just got on screen together yesterday. How y'all best friends already? So I'm kind of sick of that. I feel
like that's racially motivated, because we're both black. Right. I don't know. Like,
they do it with anybody they put it together.
We got to be a tag team.
Right.
You know they do it with every single person they put together. They magically are best friends and been friends for life. So I think we can get a dusty finish. I think we get a Naomi inadvertently causes her the belt, and that sets up a feud between them.
Okay.
As in Naomi and Bayley.
Oh, okay.
To give us another women's feud.
Now you know darn well that Naomi cannot play the role of a heel, but we'll see what happens.
No, I don't think either one is a heel in this feud. It's just going to be a one up.
Sure.
I don't want to say one upmanship because they're women, but you get what I'm saying.
So if that's the case, then what's next for Nia?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nobody else on the roster.
No. Go to NXT.
Sure.
Beat
You got a
Roxanne Perez.
Meechin right there. You got a Meechin right there.
She's been winning the Royal Rumble.
Hey, look, I love Meechin, but you know, daggone they ain't gonna put her in that position, bro.
But I'm saying they can float her. What they can triple. Remember the Triple H formula. He can make you care about him in one show.
But hold on, didn't they just do that? Wasn't she just fighting Nia in a brief feud?
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely don't see that happening now.
I think they can.
But she just was.
Did you think you would see Bayley?
She's in a feud with Chelsea Green right now.
Yeah.
But did you see her fighting? Did you see Bayley fighting again for this?
No, but I understand it. No, but I understand it because Bayley is that big of a superstar,
a contender, regardless.
Right.
And she's the former WWE Women's Champion. So
yeah,
this is also Bad Blood. There's a lot of CCs of blood in this.
That is true.
That was good. That was clever. I like
that. No, I see what you did there. No, I noticed it. I see what you did there.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
Medical background, man.
I see.
Okay, okay, Mr. Medical Background. Listen. Okay. All right. Okay, Mr. Medical Background. Well, tell us, what's your medical background, sir? Who draws first blood? Does Bayley walk out of Bad Blood the new WWE Women's Champion, or does it make sense for Nia to hold that strap just a little bit longer? Like I put that Brother Hugh, that's your girl. So you got Brandon's girl and you got Brother Hugh's girl. It's a lot, you know.
You know, I kind of want to go with this, but you said
go with what? What do you want to go with? What do you want to go with? What's this that you want to go with?
The swerve. You gotta have one. You gotta have a swerve at a show. It's Atlanta.
Atlanta. That's how they say it. Atlanta.
Who's hosting the show, right? You got
oh yeah.
Who is hosting the show?
You got Bianca and Jay hosting the show.
The tag team.
It's gonna be a lot of Black Hollywood vibes.
Yeah. How cool would it be if Naomi turned on Bayley and aligned herself with family?
You and I both know we watch Total Divas and she cannot be a heel.
I know, but you know that was a younger. She's a little bit more mature. She done been through life. And then I think that would be the conflict because the host would be like, girl, what are you doing? You're supposed to be with us. We're supposed to be the big three. Then there's a reason for them to
it's just big me. And that what Kendrick said.
That's what I'm gonna say. I don't want to glue anymore.
Right. She getting upset. Y'all was with Kalani. Y'all was up there. Y'all ain't even invite me to NXT. She feeling left out.
Okay.
So that's my.
And plus, Naomi just lost in the speed tournament, right?
Did she?
Did she lose?
I ain't even check. She might.
I think she.
Oh,
you said it.
Hold on, let me look. Because she was. I thought she was going to be the speed champion, but I think we're going to start this. I would think we see them two in the match.
Who's in the finals? Or where are they now?
I'm about to check.
See, I don't know. It's like because they'd be recording stuff,
EO.
but the results don't come out until like they wanted to go live on Twitter or X.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, it is EO beater. The champion is going to be determined by Kairi Sane, and it's going to be EO because Kairi Sane and Candice LeRae have to fight to see. I don't think they're going to put EO and Kairi Sane against each other.
That would be actually funny.
Oh boy!
For 3 minutes, it's going to be flip, elbow drop, flip, elbow drop. No, give them both the belt.
Yeah, put me on record. Somebody make a graphic, Brother Hugh.
Uh-oh.
You see this?
You said who?
I said put a graphic, put it on record. Put me down for Nia Jax. Nia Jax winning, and the world gonna be mad.
Okay. All right. No. Hold on. Do that face again.
Right.
Nah, you ain't catching me.
I was confused.
That was perfect, Brother Hugh. Do you agree with Brian H and Brother Brandon about this situation?
Of course, I agree with her. Big, bad, beautiful, sexy Miss Nia Jax. Come on now. Yes.
Who is she? Big, bad, beautiful.
Big, bad, beautiful, big bully, Sexy Nia Jax, yes.
Wow.
She wins
Did y'all know Sexy Red was at Morgan today?
No, we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that.
She's performing at NXT next week. So
yes, you said big bad.
She's the host.
Sexy.
Oh no, she's gonna be doing a live performance.
So she's home.
Oh my God, Bianca and Jay gonna be in there twerking. Oh my God, they
gonna
be in there
twerking. Oh my gosh, yes.
Y'all mad?
Dang it.
I'm mad because I don't want that to be the representation that people see of our power buff girls.
Show me the cheeks.
I don't think they'll go full blown like Meg Thee Stallion, because she doesn't care. She was at the presidential election thing. Like, I was like, do you know who you are, young lady? But apparently
she knew what she was.
You're like, oh, just let her be herself. I'm like, is that what the world is
working with Kalani?
Yeah,
Kalani and her little pancakes.
Wow.
Hey,
okay. Little Debbie.
No, let me stop. No disrespect. That's it's all love.
Little Boogie's mad at dog.
Shout out to Mello.
That's
well, Miss Parker.
Well, what are we talking about?
This is what happens. But
you started. You said twerking. Huh? You know Lola Vice gonna be ready.
When did I say that?
Red.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Twerk off.
Clearly, some. I expect something.
No, but Big Mama coming back. Nikita Lyons.
Okay. Wow.
Tip drill.
All right.
What was the next match?
You did say what your nickname was, right, brother Hugh?
Big Tip in the house.
Big CIP, baby.
That's why you ain't going to Atlanta?
Nah, man. Nah.
Big Tip not going to Atlanta?
Nah, I can't
Atlanta.
Well,
who's gonna make it out? Who's gonna make it out of Atlanta alive between Finn Balor and Damian Priest? Once again, no pun intended, but it's the truth. There's a lot of bad blood between these two.
Yeah, this I wish was in the Hell in the Cell. But
right.
The last time Finn was in the Hell in the Cell, he had a shirt made afterwards.
I'm trying to figure out why the whole. I'm trying to figure out why the whole event is not just Hell in the Cell. Like, why is this not Hell in the Cell? No. It could, because all these matchups need to be put in a cage with a roof on it, with no rules. Because, this is heavy. I think Damian Priest and Finn are going to tell an amazing story. But honestly, I don't see how Finn walks out of this one alive. Brother Brennan, how do you feel? Is it possible for Damian Priest to actually walk out of this thing without the Judgment Day lurking, and we don't know what's going to happen with Rhea and all that kind of stuff? But does Damian Priest win this match, or does Finn Balor once again get the best of the Puerto Rican pirate? I don't know. I was trying to give him a cool nickname and I couldn't come up with anything. Sorry.
Because it's not a cage, any kind of cage stipulation or anything. Damian needs some friends, because they're going to interfere. They're going to try to distract him, but I think this time it's going to backfire on them, and Damian walks away. I think that the Judgment Day.
Friends when you spent the first 6 months before you became a good guy beating everybody up. Nobody wants to be your friend now. Like, Roman's got that problem. Damian's got that problem.
Why can't we be friends?
But I mean, it's he can always go talk to the LWO. They got 746 members.
Maybe the LWO's available. But
yeah, they're what are they doing? But no, in all seriousness, I think the interference backfires and he gets his win. As in, I'm going with Damian on this one.
With the dominant win?
Finn. No, I think it's one of those, the interference causes him to win the match. You know what I mean? Like, JD McDonough does something crazy.
I was about to say, JD screw up.
Yeah, he screws up, and then that's what's going to cause that issue. So,
I can see that happen. That happens quite often with the more funny version of the Judgment Day. I like this less serious.
Carlito try to do something, it backfires. JD McDonough headbutts Finn or something crazy, and it knocks him out.
He's gonna get a concussion after that one.
Boy,
you sure?
What do you have to say, Brother Hugh? Does Finn Balor get the best of Damian Priest in this situation, or does Damian Priest come out dominant, looking like I finally slayed the Judgment Day?
Well, Damian Priest comes out on top because Judgment Day is going to interfere, and then that "Oh my God" is going to hit, and Mr. Nick Nemeth is going to come down and kick the crap.
I was about to say
he's going to get his revenge. He's going to kick the crap out of JD McDonough and Carlito, and he's going to win. Look, Damian Priest is going to win just because of Nick Nemeth. That's all. That's all I got to say.
How did you find a way?
Why did you put him into this mix?
About zigzag. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a cool concept because I'm a zigzag.
Say you here? Oh my god!
I want the revenge. That wasn't fair. No, he just disappeared after JD McDonough.
He definitely like threw him into some stairs, and then that was
JD McDonough took him out.
And then JD McDonough disappeared for a little while, and then popped back up with the
with his black button up on and his black pants. Hey, I'm gonna enjoy the Judgment Day. Like what? No, bro.
Clearly,
revenge for Nick Nemeth. Revenge for Nick.
He was real.
Okay, well, listen, that we got a different take. We got a Nick Nemeth run in. Okay, I'm okay with
long-term storytelling. Long-term booking.
That is definitely long-term booking. What say you, Brian H? Damian Priest, Finn Balor, who comes out on top?
Mommy.
Well, he's always on top. Isn't that what she said?
I'm gonna go with Damian Priest.
Really? No. Why do you say Damian Priest?
I feel like he's gonna get this big win after losing at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. Like he feel like he need that big baby face win after losing the title. So I think Damian Priest wins this.
Okay. All right.
That man, the reason he ain't world champion.
Oh, that is true.
Is a purpose.
Oh, see, I forgot all about that. Yeah.
Once again, this is what I mean by bad blood. Like this might end in blood. Like, bro, like this, he gotta get his hit back in blood because that's a big deal. Like we know how big of a deal it was that they made of him becoming the world heavyweight champion, and then this is the guy that's responsible for him not being that anymore. And he's like nowhere near that title conversation right now. I'd be pissed too. We will see. That's not going to end well, but this is probably going to be the funnest match. I think it's probably going to be the most entertaining for obvious reasons. Brother Hugh, we have Dominik Mysterio clearly in this photo. Like he's locked in the shark cage. The fact that they put this graphic together just for the sake of the advertisement shows the dedication.
That is cool.
Like everybody feels the same way about Dominik Mysterio, but even though this match isn't about Dirty Dom Dom, this is about Rhea Ripley. This is about Liv Morgan and the championship that Rhea Ripley never lost. Right. Mm-hmm. So there's obvious motivation there, and the young lady that terrorized Rhea Ripley. But at the end of the day, though, Liv Morgan said, "You started this. Like you came at me first. I just came back on my revenge tour to make things right." So this is not going to end well either. Two gorgeous women. I hope this doesn't end in blood, but I could see if it did. Does Liv Morgan retain her women's world championship, or does Rhea Ripley finally get back what she rightfully owns and deserves?
You know what I would kind of want to see, but I know it doesn't really. It doesn't really make sense. Mm-hmm. But I would love to see Tiffany cash in and win it. Somehow, some way. Yeah, just swerve it up. Just mix it up a little bit. But it doesn't really make sense. But
why don't it?
Just with the storylines. With big Nia Jax, she choked the mess out of Tiffany the other day, threatened her. It just makes sense that she would take it off of Nia.
Yeah, I got you.
Or at least try to, right?
Yeah.
Is it believable?
Yeah, it's believable. It's possible, but I just think I just think it's even more possible that she takes it off of Nia because it just fits better, storyline wise.
Right.
But honestly. All right, this is the dilemma. Rhea.
Yeah, there we go. Now we got a conflict.
I feel like Rhea, she needs the big win.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm afraid of is what's going to happen to Liv if she loses.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like
she's on a run of a lifetime right now, being this pest.
Absolutely. So why not carry that on? And then you have her and the whole Dominik thing going on. So, like, how do you keep that storyline with those two together going if Rhea wins the title and moves on? Because you can't. I feel like you can't really. Hold on. Is it 2 matches or 1 match? Did they? This is the second time they were wrestling.
Second time.
The second was the tag match. Remember. So this is technically their second single, but their third match because the tag match.
Well, we might be able to go one more time then.
So you think this is a to be continued?
Yeah, it possibly could be a to be continued. So yeah, Liv wins it, and then Rhea, she's gonna get her lick back. So if she gets her lick back, then that means Damian has to win. That's the way I feel.
Okay.
One of them has to win.
Okay, so if Liv wins, Damian Priest has to lose.
No, Damian Priest has to win.
Has to win. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. This is going to be good. Brother Guy, does Liv Morgan defeat Rhea Ripley?
Via disqualification.
Now how is that possible when Dirty Dum Dum is the shark cage with shark bait?
Well, can I jump in real quick? He's going to throw a chicken nugget at her or chicken tender at Rhea.
Well, Brian, they say with it. No color on his plate.
No color.
No color.
Raw dog in it.
So I'm gonna set the stage. Rhea and are Rhea. God dang it. Rhea and Liv are having a banger match. He definitely did. And Rhea gets disqualified because she doesn't let up on the beating.
You know, darn well they're not gonna let this match end on disqualification.
Let me finish. As Rhea is destroying her because this is a revenge tour. And she's walking up the ramp because Liv is laid out with the title so they can go a third match. You hear it's Tiffy time. This is how it makes sense. Tiffy comes, hit the the prettiest moonsault ever, gets the belt, and then that's the stare down of Rhea saying, how did this happen? You know what I mean? Because she's still got unfinished business with Liv, but now you got my title. So it adds another layer into it. Do I keep beating her up or do I go after my title? And I've been saying it. They teased it on SmackDown with the loser supposed to leave SmackDown. Who knows what happened to that angle? But it makes sense for Tiffany to come to Raw to be with her boyfriend. And you can tease all that stuff. And after she wins, she can go up to Nia and say, look, we're both champions. You know what I mean? But it can be that moment that's where she went in there her own thing. And see, I wouldn't cash in on you. I cashed in and got my own title. I think that Rhea, if that cash in doesn't happen, Rhea gets disqualified, and Liv keeps the title.
Interesting spin. I like it
because she hasn't really ripped her through a table yet, right?
No, I don't think so.
She keeps trying to really get her hands on her and destroy her. This is when she's going to do it. It's going to get ugly.
Good job, Mr. Booker, man. I like it.
Brian H. Does Liv Morgan survive an onslaught from Rhea Ripley this Saturday, October 5th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific?
Man, I rise with Liv, man.
Really? You put your money
I would live till the wheels fall off.
Well, are the wheels going to fall off in this match? Because
Look, Dirty Dom Dom, maybe. No, I ain't calling it that.
My bad. Okay, Booker T.
You said that in front of Brother Hugh. You know he wouldn't let you slide on that one.
He may be up in the Raptors, but I think she's gonna find a way to get it done. And
on her own.
Yeah. Did she get beat up last on Raw?
She hasn't been doing well. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I don't know who. I don't know how. But something would say to me that somehow or another they might have another lady in the Judgment Day.
I was about to say I was hearing rumors, but
I don't pay attention. I ain't even look. I stay away from rumors.
I forgot Raquel Rodriguez.
I just stumbled across him.
I stay away from rumors. I try my best.
I forgot about Raquel.
I just been, I just think about it. I'm like, because y'all said it best. What happens with Liv after this? Besides, being a Judgment Day.
Well, that's what Brother Hugh was asking.
Charlotte Flair will be back soon. Don't you want to see Charlotte and Liv next?
No, she on SmackDown with Andrade.
Yeah,
leave on
they're married. They usually keep married couples together.
You're right. I forgot about that.
That's why I keep saying Tiffany is coming to Raw.
Yeah.
Now, do they always keep the couples together, or is it just the married folks?
It used to be just the married folks. At first, it was like they didn't care, but then it was the married folks.
Maybe she'll stay on SmackDown.
It's different then, though, because nowadays you have to acknowledge certain things without discriminating, because of titles and all types of stuff.
They both cooking like individually.
Yeah,
like why would you want to mess that up?
And start over with a fresh brand.
Yeah, especially with Gunther and Ludwig.
Yeah. Ludwig Kaiser.
Ludwig Kaiser.
Okay, well, so
Out the Samantha Irvin.
So we got to move on to the main event, right? This is what the whole show's all about, right?
You think
this is what's going to come down to.
I was about to say, you think that's going to be the main event?
Absolutely.
So before you say that, people are crazy to think that WWE did not spend all that money on that vignette to make this the opener. Come on now, y'all got to stop being silly because he's okay. Triple H is obsessed with nostalgia. He's throwing callbacks to '97's Bad Blood. That's why you got that cage match. It's going to start the show, and this is going to end the show. I'm so sick of hearing these people saying, "Oh my God, CM Punk is your main event because it's the Hell in a Cell match because it's just like the original Bad Blood." Stop it. Cody Raheem and our OTC will close the show. Stop it. Jacob, just stop it. We know what the main event is.
So you don't want your favorite superstar headlining the show?
CM Punk will open the show so they can destroy each other, and CM Punk can get the medical treatment he needs to heal up before Monday Night Raw.
Why does that sound very accurate though? With this, we gotta get him out so he can ice down, and if anything happens to him, we can get him bandaged up and good to go. Because he's older.
He's like shots at his knees. Get him some, whatever he needs.
Just don't get hurt.
Yeah. There you go. Please, whatever. I don't know how you don't. How do you make this a good? I don't know. I'm nervous because Russell's like going all out, but I'm like CM Punk. You're older now. You keep getting hurt, buddy. Like you keep tearing stuff, pulling things, and who knows? But we all know what this is about. Like this is that. Like I said, that cinematic masterpiece. And then of course, one thing before I get everybody's predictions on that. Anytime Cody Rhodes starts doing interviews and start giving away fake spoilers, it's like, okay, you something's about to happen, right? All of a sudden, there's viral clips of Cody Rhodes talking to Pat McAfee. He's like, "Is the big guy coming back?" He's like, "Which one?" He's like, "All right, you told me everything I need to know." And I'm like, okay. And then he's asking Cody Rhodes, like, he's all like, if what happens, what we think is going to happen in the next quarter, oh yeah, it's going to be unbelievable. And I'm like, see, there he goes. He's fake. But say he's Dusty Rhodes son. I don't trust nothing he says. I'm like, here you go, giving away fake spoilers. So I'm like, to me, I don't think it's about necessarily the match itself or the winning or the outcome of the match. I think this match is going to be like, this is going to set the tone for the next chapter of this saga of where it goes. But with that being said, start with you, brother Brandon. Can Cody Rhodes? Last week we talked about it, right? We talked about Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Can they get along? Now we're here. Who wins this match? That's right.
Roman pins Solo. He gets his layback with the help of Jimmy distracting Jacob Fatu, and the whole bloodline has a face stare down with Cody, and Cody's scared now because he's like, what did I just do? That's going to be the next chapter. Cody helped him beat the bloodline, get his power back because he said it. If Roman takes this from me, I will acknowledge him. Roman has single-handedly beat the bloodline by himself, except for when Jacob comes into play. So he needs to distract Jacob so he can pin Solo, get his layback, and they're all going to be behind him. The troops going to be flanked behind him, and Cody's going to be shook because he done did exactly what he didn't want to do. Because what did Roman say? You're in my way in life. And Cody's going to realize he got his band back together.
Yeah, that's going to be a little dangerous.
And that's going to be the thing. They're not going to take. They're just going to. It's going to be one of them stare downs for cinematic purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be standing there with the Tongans, Jacob Fatu, Solo reluctantly, and Jimmy. All of them going to be standing there looking at Cody Raheem. Poor Cody.
Yeah, this is not going to end well, brother Hugh. Brother Hugh, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. How does this end? Can they coexist long enough for them to beat Solo SIkoa and Jacob Fatu?
Yeah.
Everybody's stuck.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm looking at this graphic, and the whole time I'm just thinking, like, well, first of all, who takes the pin? I'm thinking
it's got to be Solo.
It got to be Solo, but at the same time, I'm like, well, if you want Solo to look strong, as the, I guess, quote unquote tribal chief right now, you wouldn't want him to take a pin, but you can't have Jacob take the pin because he's dominant. Then of course Roman and Cody, you can't have them take a pin. So now I'm thinking, look, there's gonna be some type of shenanigans.
You know it's gonna be some type of shenanigans. That's right. What you know.
Right. I'm still having issues with the finish though.
But see, that's the thing. I don't think we get a clean finish. I don't think this is meant to make so. Think about it. How Solo ever? He wasn't meant to look strong in the situation. I think we should throw that out the window. Think about it. He's a weasel at this point. He was never meant to be looks. I don't think he has to come out this thing looking strong. I think he has to come out with people caring about him.
He still has to be believable though.
But see, but believable as what though? Like what my question is, what is WWE trying to make Solo? It's because Solo's original character, right? Think about the prize fighter he was in NXT. He was meant to be a dominant force, right? And then he became the bloodline. He was the enforcer. He played that role well. Now he's like, we're dealing with something deeper, like as far as characters are concerned, right? We're dealing with imposter syndrome. He's convinced himself that he's supposed to be dominant, but yet he has not been. So it's like, what is WWE?
No reason why he's supposed to take the pin.
He still has one of the match.
Because he's not going to get hurt.
When the last time he won a match?
I don't. Him?
Yeah.
That time, what was it? The Bloodline versus Orton, KO, and
that was a tag match, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, when they been Cody.
Damn.
Yeah. You feel me? So and then you still got John Cena's victory tour still coming up. I know he got his hit back at Mania, but you know, I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm lost, bro. Like, because all right, look. So I'm gonna keep it simple. Go ahead.
Somehow we're gonna get some type of interaction between Roman and Cody. It's gonna be some type of miscommunications or something. But they're gonna keep it together, and they're gonna get the win somehow, some way. Now, I feel like there's going to be some sort of antics later on after the match. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I don't know if it's new members. I don't know if just the bloodline get one up on them. But I'm thinking about there in Atlanta too. And we got to hear Cody Raheem's theme 472 times.
Well, I'm just saying.
They end the show looking, standing strong, standing tall. So Roman and Cody wins.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I feel bad because I feel the conflict in what you had to say. Like, yo, that was just not something you wanted to really dig into. And it was like, yo, I had to figure this out. But I feel for you because this is
it's tough.
I feel like we used to be smart when it comes to this wrestling stuff, but Triple H is like, no. It's not gonna be that easy.
Figure it out. We gotta change some things. Figure it out, guys.
So it's as I think they're booking the shows to suspend belief just enough time for us. So by the time we figure it out, it's too late. The moment is already happening. You know what I mean? Like we used to come on these preview shows and tell you everything that was going to happen, and then you would go out there and be like, "Yep, there it is. We called it." Versus now, it's like you're trying to figure it out. Like you're trying to figure it out all the way up until that point, and then by the time you figure out what's going on, you're already there. And I think that's the goal of modern day professional wrestling, where we've seen everything, and there's spoilers everywhere, and there's, you know what I mean? It's like, well, how do we keep people on their toes? We don't need them to figure it out ahead of time. We just need to figure it out. We just need to keep them on their toes long enough for us to give them the moment and be like, holy crap, this is what's going. Like we saw SummerSlam. And Roman came out. They got me to the point where I wasn't paying attention, and then his music hit. And I'm like, okay, they got me.
Right.
So I'm like, I feel like that's the formula for this main event story in particular. But Brian H, let's close this out strong, sir. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. I don't know why we even asking Brian H. Why are we doing this right now? I don't know why. Just Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns versus Solo SIkoa, Jacob Fatu. Who comes out on top? We already know the answer, but go ahead.
Cody Rhodes should be happy that he gets to be on the same team.
He just couldn't say He just couldn't say a regular answer. I knew it was going to be that.
So Roman Reigns will get the win, and Cody will be a part of that. But I think, it is definitely them beating and putting down Solo SIkoa, some shenanigans. But the thing, like you said last week, is looking at how those two interact with each other. That's going to be the thing. Now, as I sit back and watch Bad Blood right now, and I see the debut of Hugh's favorite wrestler.
Yes, sir.
It would be so nice. They haven't teased nobody. If you want to do a callback, right? Bring up another Anoa'i that looks Roman dead in the face the same way Kane is looking at Undertaker. Undertaker's looking at Kane. That's gotta be Tyler. Yeah, bring up somebody else, and that may happen. You know, we supposed to think, okay, Triple H is doing things so new, so right now he's not going to have Cody lose in his own town.
Sure,
but what if he does?
I don't know. That's making me uncomfortable.
What if Tower, Lower, one of them come down and put down Roman?
Yeah, this is making me uncomfortable. This is too much.
Can't go down twice this year. He hasn't lost 2 matches in one calendar year. Actually, last year.
You look so concerned and worried. Y'all see Brian Hitch's face right now? He's like,
yeah,
no.
That's the whole thing with my freaking kids. They're not invited over for this one.
Oh,
well,
nah, just in case. I can't take no risk. They try not to root for Roman, even though he you know, they're like, no, we remember what he did. He terrorized everybody. Like, no, but he's a good guy. But hey, I'm going with Roman.
You took part in that terrorizing the children as well. Don't act like you just you participated. No, okay. Well, I'm sure you don't, but you participated. That's all I'm saying. See, there it is. Right. That's why Jonathan texted me as soon as Roman Reigns. Oh my gosh. It's one of the greatest things in my life. I got so many. He's like, look at Dad, he's sick. I got all these pictures and they're blurry pictures. So like Brian, you can tell he's ducking and dodging. They're like, Dad, what's up? What do you just talk? What's going on? So yeah, this serves you right. But this is, gentlemen, I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm uncomfortable. I'm excited because I'm like, oh crap, I know something's going to go down. Something's going to happen. They're going to give us everything that they have, and I don't know.
In Atlanta, I wanted to go.
It's something about Atlanta because, like, once again, Atlanta is supposed to be like a regular space, right? But they've been making a big deal about this for a long time. Remember, they showed I forgot, it might have been one of those overseas shows, and the next video you saw was freaking Cody Rhodes in a car with Metro Boomin. And he's like, Cody, why are we sitting in the car staking outside of Atlanta? He's like, because he said something crazy. He's like, bro, don't you have a tour bus? And he looks at Metro Boomin and goes, don't you have a tour bus? And he's like, touche. And they just sat there and they just like, and I'm like, why are they teasing Bad Blood a few months down the line already? So to me, it's like, okay, I feel like Triple H has this timeline, you know, him, Paul Heyman, and all the creative people, Bruce Pritchard, that are involved in this space, where they say, okay, cool, from here to here, it's going to be, we're going to have this moment happen at this PLA. We're going to have a few months in between. We got to get to this point. Then we got to get to this point. This is going to lead us to the Rumble. This leads us to Money in the Bank. This leads us to Elimination Chamber, whatever the case may be, right? And it's like, in between those gaps, you got to kind of like buy time. You know what I mean? Cody Rhodes wins the WWE Championship, has not really seen like, hey, there's never been any major plots since he's won. Oh, Cody Rhodes' run has been boring. And I was like, yo, I said it on, like I said, 4,000. I said, no, I think they're just stalling. Like, they're just trying to keep you pacified because they're like, look, we're not going to give it to you now because we got to get to this point because we have our own schedule. At Bad Blood, we're going to have this happen because, you know, this is where the stars align. Okay, and then a couple months are going to go past, and at this one, this is going to happen. And at this point, The Rock's going to come back. And at this, like, you know what I mean? There's these, to me, I think they have these markers that they're like, we just got to get to these points. And once we get to these points, you know, the payoff has always been worth it. It's different. But I think, like I said, with Roman, he proved that long form storytelling works. And as long as the payoff is worth it, wrestling fans have adapted to a more patient approach to the product that we've been watching on TV. And then, like I said, for everybody else in between, you just enjoy the show, the fireworks, the performances, the spectacle, the merchandise, the moments, you know what I mean? And I think when you have a collision of all those different types of wrestling fans all under one roof, you get an explosion of merchandise sales, you get an explosion of attendance, you get an explosion of downloads, you get an explosion of YouTube views, you get an explosion of social media engagement. And I think that's just the formula for WWE. But like I said, we're not going to waste too much more time on it, gentlemen. We got through it. This is a very high impact, action packed episode of the Wrestling Realm Now podcast in true Wrestling Realm fact. I guarantee anybody, which is a lot of people who are watching right now, have gone away with new perspective, new education on what is going on, what is to come, and what we are excited for. We plan to be with right in the middle of the mix of the wrestling community as Bad Blood comes on once again Saturday, October 5th at 6 p.m. Eastern start time, 3 p.m. Pacific, and this is going to be intense. Real quickly, what's going to steal the show? Anybody got any ideas of what's going to steal the show?
The women.
The women?
I think
that's what they do, Shawnee.
Which one?
I mean, it's probably gonna be CM Punk and
Rhea and Liv.
Okay, so you think Rhea and Liv's going to steal the show, Brian H? Brother, here you saying CM Punk, Drew McIntyre is probably going to steal the show. What about you, brother Brandon?
the main event.
Yeah, me
Cody
too.
and
I'm with you. I think whatever's wrapped up in that is probably going to trump everything else that happens this night. But at the end of the day, everybody.
Now you got me thinking.
yeah.
Say, yeah, you doubling now, ain't you?
No, this is the real question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still in the show?
Mm-hmm.
If it's the main event.
Well, okay.
It is a Dolph Ziggler, isn't it?
Because I remember, like, for instance, right, when you're trying to get something over, everything, all things tie together and work together, right?
Sure.
I don't know if Brandon remember this conversation, but one day he was talking to Ruckus, and he was talking about this one team, and he's like, man, we was trying to get those guys over. So every time they ran out there, we was not supposed to hit them because we had to make them look strong, right? So if all things gears towards like the main event, right? Like to me, night 2 WrestleMania greatest match was the main event, even though I had the wrong result. The main event, because the match and all the shenanigans that happened, it was a moment. It was everything, all the errors coming together, right? For the cause, the great cause, the theatrics. To me, it wasn't still on the show. It did what it was supposed to do. So if it's the main event, is it still on the show?
Here we go. You ready? This is what we do at the realm. I'll one up you, Brian H.
Mm-hmm.
If Hogan and Andre is the main event of WrestleMania 3, right? But what's the match that everybody talks about outside of that one? Is Steamboat and Macho Man. Did Steamboat and Macho Man steal the show?
Oh yeah, I always thought that.
So I
think that's where the term "stealing the show" was born. To be honest with you,
okay, fair enough. And you think that what you named, if Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, it's supposed to be the best. This is supposed to be the biggest spectacle.
That's what puts the butts in the seats. That's the one responsible for the house.
Draw for the house, right? Thank you for the house. And you think that Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley is gonna jump over that, like Yeezy jump over Jordan, Yeezy jump over Jumpman. That's ideally what you're saying.
That's a great way to put it.
So to your point, yes, you are correct.
You work me into it. Book me into a shoot. Yeah, ain't nobody stealing the show.
you wanted to bring it up, and I'm like, okay, all right, touche, Brian H. You have a point. You're absolutely right. If it is the main event, that's
like Roxanne and Julia stole the show. It wasn't hard. It was Ethan Page and Ethan Page and Trick.
You guys are really hard on developmental characters. You just don't get
but in all seriousness,
I hope you guys don't start nothing new because
Sasha and Bayley stole the show from Finn Balor and Kevin Owens. They said we can't follow that.
That's very true.
Now you know who never got their show stolen?
Who's that?
The greatest of all time,
Shawn Michaels,
the GOAT. The HB Kizzle. The name of show that got stolen from Shawn Michaels.
Never.
Yeah. The main event.
He's never been on a show.
Maybe WrestleMania 23 when Batista and Undertaker. That's it.
Who won 2001's Royal Rumble?
Stone Cold.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to think. I'm really trying to think of a card with Shawn Michaels at a singles match. And
no, because I was gonna say, because to me, to your point, Brian, like the Rumble, like I was sitting here trying to think who won, because you know what match I'm always going to think about when it comes to Royal Rumble 2001.
Yeah, the only good thing about SmackDown Just Bring It was the Jericho and Chris Benoit Walls of Jericho. That's the greatest Intercontinental ladder match ever.
It's not.
But you see what I mean? Like the Royal Rumble delivered, but I couldn't remember. I was like, wait a minute, what stole the show? That stole the like I was sitting here going through it like that. Was it TLC, that pay-per-view where Christian and Shelton Benjamin opened the show?
I don't remember
for the ladder match for the ECW.
Ruthless aggression to me.
Yeah, the ECW ladder match was the first match on it. Was it TLC?
Mm-hmm. You got me.
I'm still stuck on the fact he just disrespected the ladder match. He gonna say Chris C Benoit Jericho was the greatest. He said it on purpose too. I said, hold on, like, excuse me.
He said Intercontinental Championship match.
I know which one. I know which one. Everybody.
Have you heard of WrestleMania 10? Have you heard of SummerSlam?
SummerSlam. WrestleMania 10 was mid, but
have you heard of SummerSlam 98? Yeah. Triple H and The Rock. You watch Young Rock. That was the one that catapulted Rocky to the next level.
All right, I'll take that back. Yeah,
thank you.
That, it was a great match.
No, what he meant to say was Brandon's favorite Intercontinental ladder match. It was my favorite one.
But now, see, here's an exercise though.
Here we go.
Is Shawn Michaels the wrestler who had the least amount of show stealing?
What do you mean the least amount?
Like never had like. How often has Shawn Michaels had a show stolen from him?
I'm trying to think.
He's probably the main eventer outside of
in the singles match.
In the singles match.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I've only named one. WrestleMania 23. With him and Cena was the main event.
Batista and Undertaker shut it down because the match between him and Cena on Raw the next night was better than the WrestleMania match they had.
Yeah, because he was pissed off. Somebody stole his show.
There you go. He had to go out there and say, "No, Vince, book it. We're gonna do it the right way."
Yeah, like I don't think anybody. Yeah, I don't think anybody was.
He drew 83,000 though. When last time you saw anything 83,000 before like the Dallas shows?
83,000.
He tell you, I drew 83,000, brother.
Oh yeah.
Because
the first one was 93, and yeah, Ford Field.
I said, "Dang, John said." I said, "Shawn Michaels, nice. Old Shawn Michaels drew 83,000. I drew 80,000, brother."
I mean, he was good.
In a heartbeat. Yeah, this is listen. Your new best friend, Brian H. Shawn Michaels.
Hey,
like
man, that's my guy.
This is going to be one of the most. I'm gonna go back and listen to this show because I gotta rehear all these views between about the NXT Women's Championships. We just had an impromptu conversation about. This is why Brian H. and myself stayed out in front of Morgan's campus for an extra 4 hours.
Homecoming.
This is where the conversation keeps going. Where he talking about Shawn Michaels, then he disrespect Shawn Michaels, talking about the ladder match, and then he got to one up it and say all these other things. But we appreciate everybody joining us once again for another episode of the Wrestling Realm Now podcast. I hope you learned something new. I hope you have a different perspective, and I hope you are still a wrestling fan after everything. We appreciate you. Follow us on also all of our social media platforms at the Wrestling Realm. Follow Championship Culture at Championship Culture _ on Instagram. Don't forget, every Tuesday, 8 p.m. on youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm is where you can find every episode of season 1, season 2, and we are well into season 3 of Championship Culture. Like we told you before, we are always working on a number of different things. And guess what? Here is a sample of one of those things. Here we go. We'll see you next week. Peace. We out.
Houston, we have a problem.
For all exclusive shows and bonus material, subscribe to our Patreon channel at patreon.com/thewrestling_realm. You can watch all of our Wrestling Realm content anytime on youtube.com/thewrestling realm.